Hey, what's good, people? Whether it's an earbud at work, in between class, while you're working out, or sitting on your ass, I want to welcome you to the CharlieGtv Podcast. And we have a hell of a show lined up here for you today, all right? We're going to be talking about a lot. Motivation versus discipline, family support, different things that need to be changed in school. And, Charles going to have a couple of headlines and so much more. But before I get into all of that, I have to introduce the very, very cool guest that we have on here today. He's a Detroit native from the East Side. He was a manager at one of the big three for over a decade, a proud father. He's an award-winning motivational speaker and a co-founder of 2 Times Focus, which helps inspire and motivate young boys all across Detroit. I would like you guys to give a warm welcome to none other than Jerry Grayson. Thank you for coming on the show, man. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I highly appreciate you taking out your time and selecting us to get the story behind what we do and how we do it.
Listen, man, you're a busy man. I'm very grateful to have you here, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard guy to get a hold of, all right? You know what I'm saying? In high demand, this brother here. You know what I mean? I'm very grateful for your time today. Now, we start every podcast with what I call the Watch This Week. Okay. Now, it could be a TV show, a podcast, an anime, a movie. It could be a funny guy on Instagram that you want to shout out. But what have you watched this week that you would want to recommend or relate to the people?
It's got to be a watch.
Something you watch or something you read. Okay. Either or.
Okay. Eric Thomas. Shout out to Eric Thomas. His book, U.O.U.
U.O.U. His book, U.O.U.
Yes.
I respect that. That's the first time in the many episodes that I've ever gotten a book recommendation from a guest.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? What does that book touch on a little bit?
U.O.U. The best version of yourself. You got to put in the work. You got to identify who you are and what you want to be. And he give you the steps, he give you the strategies, he give you the tools to do that. And he is the largest motivational speaker in the world.
Wow.
From here.
Wow.
Eric Thomas, shout out.
From Detroit. Respect, Eric
yes,
Thomas.
Indeed.
I love that. U.O.U. Very good book recommendation. You guys go check it out, all right? You're trying to become your best selves. I watched this week, all right, I'm going to shout out an anime that I watched, My Hero Academia. You know what I mean? It might be an anime, yeah, but it's a very inspiring anime because I'm watching it and it's all about heroes and villains. You know what I mean?
Powerful.
And it's all about what like there's villains in there and heroes, but it's like in a real world scenario kind of. And the villains are trying to weaken the public's respect of heroes. You know what I mean? So there are many heroes that started quitting because they would go to try to save people, and people would be like, "We don't believe in you anymore. Who needs you?" You know what I mean? And they couldn't withstand that amount of backlash from the people and still be wanting to risk their lives to save them. So a lot of heroes quit. You know what I mean? But the real heroes remained heroes and still saved them anyway. You know what I mean? So it really took a lot into the motivation it takes to be a hero, the motivation to intervene when you didn't have to. You know what I mean? So
send me that.
Yeah, it's a very good, very good anime, and it does help motivate me in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Because when no one's there to support you, you still gotta be a hero and step up and do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? So shout out to My Hero Academia, very, very powerful anime.
Amen.
So the first question I have up for you here is, what was it like for you growing up? Was it a single parent household? Did grandma raise you? Did you have a lot of brothers and sisters? What was it like?
Good question. Still fortunate. I have both parents in my life.
Wow.
My mother and father will have 53 years, May 8th.
Wow. They still together?
Still together.
Amazing.
Still together. Look, real quick, I asked my mom and dad, I love them both to dearly, do anything for them. But I said, how did you deal with each other for all this long? They just laugh at me. But I definitely was fortunate. I have an older sister who's the second mom to me, who helps me out with a lot. So I'm definitely blessed. And when I look at, this is why I do this work, brother. When I look at my peers, from elementary school to grade school to college, even to work, there's grandmas raising them.
That's why that's in the question.
Single parents. There's a system raising them. So it's very rare that my circle and my friends had both parents and still have both parents. So I'm very, very thankful.
You are very, very lucky for that. You know what I mean? And everybody that doesn't have that situation is obviously envious of it. You know what I mean? I told my mother this a couple of years ago, and she didn't. I guess it didn't register because my perspective is different. I just told her, even though I did spend summers with my dad in the Cayman Islands, she sent me, I flew on a plane by myself as a minor, you know what I mean? 2 or 3 times she sent me to Jamaica to go spend the summer with him. So I love my dad. I have a great relationship with my dad. My dad actually just hit me up on my Facebook and told me that he wants me to interview him on the podcast. He wants to tell me his life story.
Legacy.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? I had him on the podcast one time, but maybe I was a little tentative to ask him certain questions, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But he really wants to open it, really wants to tell me everything, you know what I mean? So I really love that, and that's the reason why I'm planning a trip to Jamaica at some point. I have to go to Jamaica. That's where he's at, you know what I mean, to do the interview.
Powerful.
Right? You know what I mean? So I love my dad, but it's hard. It's hard. It's just always the optimal situation, you know what I mean, to have both in your life. So that's really, really amazing, you know what I mean? Shout out to the 50. Listen, couples today wish they could stay together that long, man. It's so hard to stay together in today's age. You know what I mean? I'm grateful. I've had a decently long relationship, even though I had to leave in the end of 5-6 years. Even that's hard to do. Even that's hard to do with some people.
But it's key to that. The key to is they still have spark for one another.
Wow.
You can be married for a long time and sleep in the basement and not talk. They still have that spark for one another.
Yeah.
They still have that love that when they was 19 and 20 again. So it's teaching me, but, everybody have their own journey.
Everyone has their own journey, for real. You know what I mean? And I always say that the women you got to pick from today is not the same as they was back in the day, I swear. You know what I mean? But I believe that for another one. You know what I mean? So what are some examples of men that you saw growing up, either your dad or in the neighborhood or celebrities?
We talking positive?
Positive or negative?
Okay. Pops was he didn't show emotion, but he provided and he showed me protection, what he did for me, my sister, and my mom. Great work ethic, great leader, fearless, not toughness fearless, faith fearless, honest, and it wasn't always peaches and cream with him and I because he expected so much out of me. Then
Are you his only son?
I'm his only son.
Of course.
So he was harder on me than I watched how he was with my sister. So I didn't understand it at the time. But to this day, I understand. He's a stand-up soldier. My coach, Mr. Affirmation, Sean Moman, being a great, great inspiration on me. My accountability partner helps me out a whole lot. Great family man. Also, I look at all those intangibles. God-fearing, family man, how you treat your wife, how you treat your kids. Yeah, and then I'll listen to you. You can be a great businessman, but if you're not doing what you're doing at home, there's no sense of me listening to you, even talking to you.
I understand. I understand that completely. You know what I mean? What I always say to people is that when they want to be in a leadership position, I think one of the reasons why they just say you want to follow before you can lead, you know what I'm saying, is I tell people is like, think about every manager or boss you've ever had. Like the moment someone's put in a leadership position over you, the moment someone's put in you start to examine every aspect of them. You know what I mean? You start to examine, and there's 2 reasons for that. I came to the conclusion. It's like, one, you want to determine whether or not they're worthy of you of leading you. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And that's very important just for survival to examine your leader. You know what I mean? And the other thing is that and once you make that determination whether they are worthy or not worthy, then you once again closely examine them because you want to learn as much as you can from them. So when you realize the level of criticism with the eye, the amount of examination that you put on leaders that were put in front of you, you realize what you're asking for when you want to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone they're looking at you in every way. After that same level of examination is what you're subjecting yourself to the moment you want to put yourself in a leadership position.
Well said.
And I think people need to understand that. You know what I'm saying? So I followed, and because of that, I know what I looked for in my leaders. So the idea of me wanting to be a leader, I know what I have to do.
Absolutely.
To a degree, you know what I mean? So
it's not the power, it's not the money. All of those things are part of the journey. But if you character base, if you treat people right, if you believe in God, if you take care of women, your daughter, your wife, your girlfriend, if you take care of your kids, those are the intangible things I look at. Mm-hmm. I don't care about the power you have. Yeah, you can't lead me if you can't lead your home.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%. You know, I know exactly where you're coming from. You know what I mean? So, who are you in high school? Who'd you hang out with? Did you hang out with the jocks? Was you with the nerds? You know what I'm saying? Was you a loner? Was you with the gangsters? You know what I mean? Who was you with in high school?
We shot dice in high school.
He's with the gangsters.
Yeah, we drank before high school. We did all of that. And it was a collective. I was always cool with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never followed.
Mm-hmm.
I did those things because I wanted to do those things.
Yeah.
But I grew up in the 48205 red zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most Beirut of the city right there.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of it because it taught me not just the toughness part, but it taught me. So, of course, I like the girls, class clown, got my work done, but did get distracted because of the girls.
Yeah.
But those are things you grow from.
Yeah.
I had the foundation, like we spoke earlier, from my dad, from my mom, from my uncles. I had the foundation, but we still make those bad choices.
Yeah.
And we got to learn from ourselves.
Absolutely.
So as a point of 10th grade, I tell people 9th grade and 12th grade are your best important years in high school. You don't want to mess up when you start, but then in 12th grade, you got to go strong, finish strong. So I finished strong, but 10th grade, man, skip school, girls' houses, shooting dice.
Cup parties was one thing back in the day.
All of those things.
Yeah.
But I had to wake up because even when I was a class clown, that wasn't cool. I got my work done. Yeah. But I was distracting the class for other people not to get their work done. So I had to understand that. But come on, we have young minds trying to develop. So I didn't understand that back then. So it's just growth. And me being in school, seeing different things, it was just a few of us that had both parents and seeing the trouble they were getting into, the disrespect they had for teachers, the work ethic they didn't have, wanted me to be a part of the village to do this work.
Yeah. I respect the hell out of that. I remember a point that I had got lost and didn't get to earlier when I was talking about one thing I said to my mom was I said to her one day, I don't have any memory at all of you and my dad being in the same room together. You know what I mean? No memory of that at all. Never. I've experienced you both separately, but I've never seen you two together at any point ever. You know what I mean? I don't got a picture of you two together. I've never seen you two together in any image, any form, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and she was thought about it. I don't know. That thought, I guess, never crossed her mind. You know what I mean?
You planted a seed.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I was just like, I've never seen it. You know what I mean? It would be nice one day.
Parents don't always make the right choices, and then through the process, it hurts the children, and we don't know what children go through when the parents are separated. Yeah, that's traumatic.
Yeah, I do know that my dad's DNA is strong though because. I had my stepfather was in my life my entire life. Like I don't remember not knowing him. He's my brother is his son, but I don't remember not knowing my little brother either. You know what I mean? Like there's no memory before my little brother. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
The thing is, I've always said my stepfather was like the anti-role model. You know what I mean? He taught me how not to treat women. You know what I mean? How not to advance in your career. Like he just taught me like what I didn't want to be like. You know what I mean? To a degree. You know what I mean? And my dad right now, my dad's always been a hard worker. You know what I mean? He was never. We take school for granted here, but in Jamaica, even for elementary and middle school and high school, your parents had to pay for that, the way they pay for college now. So my dad had a poor family, so they didn't really pay for his school like that. So he was illiterate for a lot of the years. You know what I mean? He learned how to read when he went to jail. You know what I'm saying? But my dad right now runs his own business in Jamaica right now doing construction. You know what I mean? He gives people's jobs. You know what I mean? Guys looking for him to get hired. You know what I'm saying? So my dad, at the end of the day, rose up and became a businessman, a successful one. You know what I mean? He's running this shit. He's running this stuff right now in Jamaica. And
salute.
Just knowing that lets me know why I feel like I could do it myself. You know, to a degree, because he's in me. You know what I mean? So even without having a close relationship, knowing your dad and knowing who he is can give you a lot of confidence in what you could accomplish, and also let you know what you got running in you. You know what I mean? So
powerful.
In any way you could. It's very necessary, especially as a man. You know what I mean? Because, I love women and I appreciate them. You know what I mean? But a lot of advice I've always get from women, especially on the path that they want me to take my foot off the gas. They want me to relax. They always want me like this, the balance thing. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily give the advice that a warrior gives. You know what I'm saying? And men give different advice than women when it comes to pushing yourself in certain ways. You know what I mean?
That's true. But when you find the right queen, it can help us take us to that next level.
I do believe that. I do believe that. One of my favorite lines in hip hop is about Kanye when he said, I think it was in Bound to It, one good girl's worth 1,000 bitches. I'm trying to say, but
it's the truth.
But it's the truth. It's definitely the truth. I felt him on that 100%. You know what I mean? So yeah, high school. Shout out to high school, man. Listen, it's great.
Osborne High, 1994.
Huh?
Osborne High Knights, 1994.
Yeah.
Still representing.
For real. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like a lot of the stuff that happens in the past does help shape you for the future. You know what I mean? So, and coming from a rougher upbringing, you know what I mean, does help you learn protection, help you learn judge of character. You know what I mean? Help you learn a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So you don't take L's, you take lessons. You know what I mean? So the career change, going from the automotive industry to helping kids in the street. You know what I mean? How did you find the courage to chase your purpose as opposed to being sedated by the steady job? You know what I mean? That steady paycheck. You know what I mean? Instead of settling for that comfortability. You know what I mean? To chase something different.
God's timing. Period. It's all God's timing. The work, 23 years in the automobile industry, 13
over a decade. Excuse me, 20 plus years.
Yes.
My bad.
13, 14 years in management paved the way to what I'm doing now. Being structured, knowing how to deal with different personalities, hosting meetings and walking in right rooms and knowing how to speak, knowing how to have my documentation right. So that paved the way for me, but it was just time to go. I knew at 15 what I was supposed to be doing, brother.
Wow.
I found my purpose at 15, but I just wasn't ready. I wasn't polished. I wasn't ready. So the transition was challenging, difficult and challenging.
Yeah.
You know, it's a point where, hey, do I go back to work? But if I go back to work 10, 12 hours, 5, 6 days a week, I'm not going to be able to fulfill my purpose.
Yeah.
So I Instacart, brother.
Yeah. I respect the hell out of that.
I Instacart to pay the bills and still polish myself to run this business. But it's all God's timing. I didn't go off my own emotion, and it was tough, it was challenging, and it was discipline. But I did it on His timing because purpose comes from God.
Yeah.
Doesn't come from man, doesn't come out of nowhere. We all have God, genius, gifts from Him. We just got to find it.
Yeah.
And then use it. Then when you use it, you're helping others. So when you're doing God's work, He's going to take care of you abundantly. So that's how that transition went. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't supposed to be easy.
No.
It builds what you call that character again.
Yeah.
2016, I got hurt on the job.
Yeah.
They were paying 80% of my pay for, 6 to 8 months after that. Mr. Grayson, I wasn't ready to come back.
Yeah.
Not ready. The physical, I wasn't ready.
At the end of the...
Yes, I wasn't ready. But we can give you a servant's pay. You get your insurance for another 6 months, but we got to terminate you. Whoa, this is what y'all do after all these years?
Wow.
So I'm already in my mental, shifting my mindset, doing what God has called me to do.
So it's injury.
Yeah. So I left. But I didn't plan it. I teach individuals to plan this.
Yeah.
Financially.
Have an exit strategy.
Yeah, have an exit strategy. I didn't do that. So that's why it was difficult for me. It was challenging for me, but it also built more character. Yeah. And I knew what I was supposed to be doing. Yeah. So now I do this full time.
I respect the hell out of it because I know that's not easy. Of all the things you do, you know what I mean? What do you feel like is the hardest part of running this organization, this business you got?
The most challenging part is the business side.
Like what? Like getting new contracts or?
I mean, I don't care if it's documentation, meetings, proposals.
Administration side.
The administration side, having your paperwork and all that together, you have to do it the right way. Yeah. You can listen to me carefully. You can make money in your business, but not running your business the correct way. Yeah. And people lose that. Mm-hmm. They're making money in their business, but they're not following their taxes. Their documentation not right. Yeah. They don't have a strategic lesson for their employees or employers, and it goes wrong after a certain amount of time. Yeah,
because they catch up with you eventually.
Mm-hmm. So I'm cool with things being challenging. Yeah, I may show the signs. I may even throw something on the wall one time, but we still got to get those things done.
Yeah.
So that's the challenging side. But when I'm on stage, when I'm speaking, when I'm performing my workshops, when I'm doing the one-on-ones, that's the purpose work.
Yeah.
That's what I get to thrive off of.
Seeing make the glint in their eyes, you know what I mean? The hope, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's great. I imagine it's very fulfilling. You know what I mean? It's something that you just can't get that from a job necessarily. You know what I mean? It's just different. And when you fight for it on your own, you know what I mean? It's difficult. You know what I mean? It's a different level of satisfaction.
Totally
you know
different.
I mean? And a different level of fulfillment, period. You know what I mean? Overall.
It's not work.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not work at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So, motivation versus discipline. You know what I mean? I believe, and I only really came to this conclusion maybe about, I don't know, maybe 8 months ago, that discipline is the key to success in my mind in almost all things. You know what I mean? Like, if you're married, the key to not the infidelity and this or that is just discipline. You know what I mean? If you're chubby like me, the key to the body you want is food discipline. You know what I mean? Finances, the key to getting your finances together is discipline in the spending. You know what I mean? So in almost every category I could think of, discipline seems to be the key. You know what I mean? But motivation is also important. So motivation versus discipline, which one do you think is more necessary?
Discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline creates the motivation. Once you discipline on the things, on the short-term goals, long-term goals that you set out, that you want for you, doesn't have to be business, can be personal. For you, and then you see the results, now you motivated to do more.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's discipline creates the motivation.
I believe that. I could believe that. I believe that 100%. You know what I mean? Like I said, the discipline, it's like, I've been watching a lot of this guy. He talks about manifestation in different ways and changing your frequencies and energies and things like that in that nature. And he talks a lot about self-trust. You know what I mean? When you tell yourself you're going to do something and you do it, you know what I mean? You're building self-trust, and it goes the opposite way too. When you tell yourself you're going to do something and don't do it, you know what I mean? Like, your brain and body are they're listening to you. You know what I mean? So if you keep telling yourself you're going to setting goals and then doing them, setting goals and then doing them, setting goals and then doing them, then the next time you tell yourself you're about to do something, your spirit believes you, your body believes you, because it's like, well, the last time you said something he's going to do, he did it, so he's probably going to happen again. You know what I mean? And I think that builds the motivation to do bigger things. You're like, I can do it. I've done so much already. Why couldn't I do this next step? Well, why not? You know what I mean? So I do believe that. And discipline is weird because, you know, it's like working out. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel motivated to go to do the pushes. Sometimes I really, really don't. You know what I mean? But if I wait always on the feeling to do it, you know what I mean, then I'm going to fall off. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to do it when you don't want to do it. You know what I mean?
And I was going to mention that doing it when you don't want to do it creates the motivation. Like, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
I feel better that I accomplished that and did it. So that discipline is key.
Yeah.
It's key to what we want.
Yeah.
It's so key. Relationships, health, business.
Everything.
Everything.
For real.
And being disciplined is not fun.
It's not.
It's not.
It's
You
really
feel
not.
all alone sometimes. It's not fun. It's not easy and it's not fun. But once you receive those results, and I'm not talking about huge results, small steps. We call them small wins. So them small results create the motivation as well.
Yeah.
So great question. So I believe discipline creates the motivation.
I love that. I love that. So how did you know our boys and our men needed help and guidance?
My calling. So when it's your calling, you do the research. When it's your calling, you unleash that full potential and do everything above to find out what's needed to solve the problem. I'm coming from Detroit, 48205 Red Zone. I've been seeing it all my life. But you want to be strategic and see how you can help, how you can solve these problems out here our young men are facing. It's not their fault all the time.
Yeah.
It's choices, but it's not their fault all the time. It comes from home, comes from school. It takes the village.
Yeah, it does.
It takes the village. So I do research. There are 72% of black women raising black boys just here in Detroit. Oh, we got to step up, brother. The father's not here. The father's not doing what they're supposed to do, or either they're in jail, whatever the case may be. We're not focusing on the case. We're focusing on the results, how we can help them.
Yeah.
I'm not asking my friends or people to do what I do. I do this work every day.
Yeah.
But at least once a month, let them see your face. Let them see what you're doing and what you went through. Tell them you love them. Give them some motivation.
Yeah.
Because they need it.
They do need it.
Absolutely.
So many of this, like I said, not having a father in your life, you know what I mean? And I know the percentage of single mothers is like,
that's a high percentage.
Getting higher and higher, especially in our community, it's even the high, probably the highest for real. You know what I mean? So I know that affects so much. You know what I mean? That really affects so much because I really think that both of them are necessary because your father's going to be harder on you and your mother's going to nurture you. I remember this one guy, he was talking about his kids and he was like how, because he's married with his kids, he has a couple boys, and he says whenever they're hurt or they're feeling bad or they're sick, they go to mommy. But the moment that they healed up and ready to go, they want nothing to do with mommy. They want to come to dad and rough house and get it going.
Like that.
You
That's
know what
real.
I mean? Because he's like, but they don't come to me when they're sick and they hurt for some reason. They know who to go to. They go to mommy with that. They go to mommy with that. But when they want to have fun and they want to push their limits, they go to daddy. You know what I mean? Because they know dad's gonna let them see what they got.
I want to touch on that just real quick. We need to break the barrier also. Put the pride to the side. It's okay for a man to cry. It's okay for a man to tell his sons, here, come here, let me give you a hug. He doesn't always have to go to mom.
Yeah.
Like, son, come to me if you got some issues. Let's cry together. Let's pray together. We need to show our vulnerability also.
I agree
and
with
that's
that.
not what we do.
I agree with that.
Women are queens, are natural nurturers, but we can play a part in that.
I agree too.
As men.
I agree with that too. And that's the one thing I hope that society learns from this whole push towards the more emotional side of things. You know what I mean? I hope that because on one hand, the men of previous generations were like perhaps a lot more stoic, not able to show much emotional, communicate it in that way. You know what I mean? And maybe some of the men today are a little too emotional. You know what I mean? They're a little volatile. They're not in control of their emotions. They let their emotions control them. You know what I mean? So while we're better at expressing it, we still need to learn how to control it and how to use it more as a tool instead of letting our emotions use us. And I hope in the end we find an equilibrium, you know what I mean, between control of your emotions but still acknowledgement of your emotions and ability to
Great point.
express them, you know what I mean? Cause,
It's a thin line.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
roles has changed. Masculinity and feminine. And based on what you just said, roles has changed. So there is a thin line. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. It's okay to hug your kids or hug your wife or hug your friend and say it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's not always the woman's job.
Yeah. I feel like, because I always ask people, I'm like, per capita, just as far as like statistically, there's just as many guns today as there were in the 1950s. There were automatics in the 1950s, just as many guns today as in 1950s. But there are way more mass shootings and school shootings today than there were in the 1950s. You know what I mean? So how come there's just the same amount of guns, but more shootings today? And what I contribute that to is a lot of culture. It's a cultural thing. You know what I mean? And boys being they're more emotional. You know what I mean? But they're not. They don't have that discipline. That back there was more fathers in the home back then. Like I remember this older guy was talking about, man, you wouldn't think of touching your father's gun. I wouldn't even think about it back in the day. You wouldn't even think about it unless you was ready to take him out. Okay, because anyhow you did like the father's word was law back in the day. You wouldn't even think of doing certain things. You know what I mean? And that protected a lot of things from happening. But when you take him out of the house, you take that stern discipline and things out of it, then it's a lot looser with certain things. You know what I mean? But I just want the balance to be back. I want the balance to be back. But things had to happen so we could grow the language of emotional communication amongst men. You know what I mean? So can you share a success story from your program that really stands out to you? Maybe one of your mentees.
True fulfillment puts a smile on my face. We have several. Have a young man, just started the Navy, has some issues at home. Mom was raising him. Don't know where dad is at. Joined my program. didn't want to do anything, had no motivation to do anything. And I'm not going to give myself never the credit. I give you the blueprint to be successful, and it's up to that person to do that. My job is to be patient, to give you the tools, to be there for you, and you got to do the work.
Yeah.
So I commend them for doing the work. But this one success, he's in the Navy right now, and he's moving up like it's nothing. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning when he was in my program, he's getting up at 12, missing work, missing everything, until one day he said, keep pushing me, please. I want to graduate high school, and I want to go to the Navy. Keep pushing me, keep pushing me, keep pushing me. And strategically, that's what we did. Yeah. And right now, we talk. Mr. Omar, yeah, I can say your name. Mr. Omar is in Virginia right now.
Wow.
Yes. 2 years ago, he had no idea what he was going to do. Yeah. So, yeah, we had a great influence on that.
I respect the hell out of it.
But at the same time, it's true fulfillment because he made that choice to do the work. Yeah. To listen to the blueprint, to do the work. And that's just one success. We will be all day because we have a lot of success.
It's very impactful. You know what I mean? I've been with you in one of your workshops, and one of the things I like that when you was talking to one of the kids, you was like, he was addressing the students. He was standing up in front of them, and he was like, listen, stand up straight. You know what I mean? And project your voice. That one day you're going to be a boss. You're going to be a leader of a company. You're going to be conducting meetings. You're going to have to be able to express yourself. You know what I mean? And what that does is raises the expectations. You know what I mean? I really do think that expectations matter a lot in what a kid's aims are to a degree. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I never forget I had this one English teacher, and I ain't gonna let her live it down. I don't care. I'll leave your name out of it. But English, language arts, English has always been my favorite subject. I've always, when they gave me a book to read, I was gonna read it. I'll do it every assignment. So I was used to getting 90s, 95s, and 85s in all my English classes. So I get this one English teacher one day in I think my junior year or something, and it was an Indian lady or whatever. Once again, I showed up to every class, did every assignment, read every book, did everything I was supposed to do. At the end of the semester, she gave me a 75. So I came to her, and I was like, is there something I didn't do? Is there something like some assignment I didn't do or something? Like, well, I got a 75. And she looked me in my face, and she said, I thought you'd be happy with that. You know what I mean? And I was like, nah. You know what I mean? Like, why would you think I'd be happy with that? Like nah. Like, but I was saying in my head, if I was Asian, you would know I wouldn't be happy with that. You know what I mean? But you thought I'd be happy with that. You know what I mean? And expectations of what someone, they put that pressure on you. You know what I mean? That matters as opposed to someone not putting any pressure on you. Like setting your bar way down here. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I respect him saying, keep pushing me. You know what I'm saying? Because having that pressure put on you, you know what I mean, can help you ride. They say pressure makes diamonds. You know what I mean? So, no, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to be up here. You're supposed to be excelling. You're supposed to be a valedictorian. You're supposed to be up here as opposed to being like, oh, you'd be cool with that. At least you passed. And like, no, you got to push towards excellence. It takes a certain amount of push. You know what I mean? And sometimes people got to speak things into your life and see things in you that you don't see in yourself yet. You know what I mean? So expectations matter a lot. And putting that pressure on young kids is nothing but good for them, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. We call it accountability. You got to paint them a picture because exposure is everything. They may not see that, brother. Yeah. They may not see that. So I know exactly what you were talking about. You know, it was his time to speak. And this is not for everybody to speak in front of crowds and all of that. But one day you will be a CEO. Yeah. I'm speaking in existence, the energy you're talking about. Yeah. One day you will be at the highest level that you want to be at. Yeah. So at some point you're going to be able to express that. Yeah. To tell people your journey. Yeah. So why not teach them now? Yeah. The time is now.
The time is now. The time is
later. Why not teach them now how to speak clearly? Mm-hmm. How to stand up straight? Why not a structure? Yeah. Why not teach them now?
Why not? Why not? That's what I say. It's very, very impactful.
YouTube teaching them now. Yeah. The games teaching them now. Yeah. Why not teach them now?
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's so funny. Sometimes whenever I go back and visit my mom's, you know what I mean? I really be going there for my little sister. My little sister just turned 14. And I be talking to her so much, and I'm always talking to her about the world and trying to give her as much knowledge as I can. You know what I mean? And so many times when I'm talking to my little sister, because I know what it is to grow up with the internet. So I know she's 14, but I be talking to her like she's 20. You know what I mean? Because I know mentally what the exposure she probably mentally not. So I'm trying to prepare for the world as much as I can. And so many times my mother be like, "What you guys talking about over there? That's crazy." And I'd be like, "Mom, she's around a whole bunch of kids her age influencing her all day for 8 hours a day. And you worried about what her big brother's saying to her? You know what I mean?
She's going to hear it anyway.
You know what I mean? She's going to hear it anyway. You know what I mean? I'm contextualizing the world the information that the world's giving her. You know what I mean? And I think there was an older way of parenting that tries to keep you a kid as long as they can and tries to shelter you. But in today's world with the internet, that is literally impossible. I remember when I was in high school, what I always tell is that I was in high school, and we did this in middle school, really, too. But we was in high school, whatever. We was in school with the school computers that the government put blocks on the school computers so that you can't see certain things. And we found a way past the government blocks on the computers. So the idea that you're going to stop your kid from seeing something when the government tried and they couldn't, you know, is like, you just got to let that go. You know what I mean? And instead, have the conversations that you're uncomfortable to have a little bit sooner. You know what I mean? And try to contextualize this, because this world is coming at the kids faster than it ever has. You know what I mean? And if they don't have any sort of guidance, that's why I always tell her, outside of something dangerous, I always tell her, I'll never snitch on mom to you. I'll never tell on you. You know what I mean? Because I want her to feel safe coming to me to talk to me about whatever the hell she's dealing with. You know what I mean? I don't want her to feel like, oh, Carly's going to tell me my life's going to change, I'm going to get bullied or something's going to happen. Like, nah, I'm just here to love you through whatever situation life is throwing at you and trying to do my best to give you the best knowledge possible. You know what I mean? So I try to be that role for her. I try to be engaged with her. You know what I mean?
Great job, big brother.
You know what I mean? I try.
No, you're doing it. Yeah. Take the try out. You're doing it. That is awesome. Big brothers and little sisters, big brothers and little brothers.
Yeah.
That's the part of the village.
Yeah.
Because listen, I had both parents in my household. I didn't always listen to them. I listened to the coach. I listened to the uncle. I listened to my sister. Sometimes we don't listen to moms and pops, but we get it from the village.
Yeah.
And you're part of the village right now.
Yeah. I try to play my part. I told her this the other day, too, because I met a guy at my job. It's really funny because I'm 30 and he's 30. And I always told her this because she was born when I was 16. I'm 30, he's 30. His daughter's 14. You 14. I told her, listen, I remember holding you in my arms like this, you know what I'm saying? And there was a couple years, especially in the beginning, where I was the one taking her to school and I was the one picking her up because, you know, the parents had to work. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of times where the people in the school thought I was her pops, you know what I'm saying? Because I had always said, I'm big brother, you know what I'm saying? But
it's also preparing you too.
Yeah. I know what it's like to change the diaper, I know what it's like to sterilize the baby bottle. You know what I mean? I know what it's like to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very good training, honestly, for the future. But yeah, we got those. Remember, we moved out to Detroit, and her school was like 3 blocks from the house. And, I remember holding her hand, walking through a little snow. You know what I mean? Going up the block. You know what I mean? Being able to pick her up every day.
Priceless.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'll never take back those times that I had with her. And I was very, very glad I was able to do that. You know what I mean? And
let me tell you something important. Whether if she tells you now or don't ever tell you, she's not gonna forget about that.
Yeah.
Whether if she tells you, she's telling somebody or keeping it to herself. My big bro got my back.
Yeah. And I want her to always know that. I want my little brother to know that too. He's still in New York right now. You know what I mean? I got to do a better job of calling him more. He's only maybe 2 years younger than me. You know what I mean? He's going through his own during the faith, his own tribulation. I got to make sure to call him more. You know what I mean? Because, you know, my family sometimes gets mad at me for not calling them. As far as like the older family, like my uncles, maybe my grandmother and stuff like that. And the way how I look at it, I might be wrong about this. Tell me how you feel about this. Like, I feel like I'm young and I'm bumping my head on this adult life. You know what I mean? I'm paying my own bills. I'm striving. I'm at the what I call the warrior stage of my life where I'm fighting for the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like as a person that's older who knows what level of life I'm going through, you should be maybe checking on me to give me advice about how I'm going, checking on me, how I'm doing. You know what I mean? That's why, to me, the people I feel most guilty about not calling are the ones that are younger than me, my little sister and my brother, because I'm like, they're the ones under me. So I got to offer them guidance or offer them things as opposed, you know what I'm saying? So I can't expect them always to call me for, because they're going through what they're going, they're in the midst of, they're in the midst of it. You know what I'm saying? So they might not always have the clarity or the time to call, but I feel a duty to them. You know what I mean? To be a source of guidance and a source of information for them. You know what I mean? So I reach out to my younger people, my younger siblings, way more than I do my older ones. You know what I mean? But I always tell them I never not picked up a phone call. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm not picking up your phone call. You know what I'm saying? But so and
you still want my advice?
Yeah. How you feel about it?
Did you before this podcast? Did you go interview my family or something?
No.
It's something similar with what I'm going through now.
No.
I know you didn't, but I feel that the younger generation should pay homage and give us that phone call. How you doing, Unc? How you doing, Pops? And there's nothing wrong for us to call also.
Yeah.
But as they get older, my mama's 73, my father's 74, I expect my sons and my daughter to give them a call.
Yeah.
Pay homage.
Yeah.
Hey, how y'all doing? You need something? You need me to bring something? It doesn't have to be a long, out, dry conversation.
Yeah.
But reach out. And that's coming from what I instill in my sons.
Yeah.
Now, do they do it? No names. One does, one doesn't.
I feel you.
But call your grandmother. Call your auntie. Call your uncles. Call me. Text.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, how you doing? You need anything? You cool? Pay homage.
I agree. I feel you on that. I do feel you on that, because I've been piggybacking off my mom a lot. My mother, when I was living with her, she's always calling the family. So I used to just piggyback off her calls. I'd be like, hey, how you doing? Like in the background, hey, how you doing? How you doing? You know, so she did a lot of jobs of connecting me to the family. But now since I moved out, now it's kind of like I'm all alone, kind of, you know what I'm saying? And she did tell me, and I do want to do it. She said, at least make one day a month, call it family day. You know what I mean? And make the calls at least one day out the month.
Who told you that?
My mother told me to do
Powerful.
that. You know what I mean? So,
and it's easy to do.
Yeah. So
Make it a part of your life.
Yeah. So I haven't done it yet. You know what I mean? But I do intend to do. I want to pick a day out the month, whether it's the 15th, whatever, the 20th. All right. Every third Sunday. You know what I mean? I'm gonna spend these 4 hours making my calls to the family at least one day out the month.
And you live in your life. You live in just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Modern, hectic life. You'll hear me say that a lot. Mm-hmm. Modern, hectic life. You got work, you got bills, you got a personal life, you got your business.
Yeah.
So you're not thinking about that all the time.
Yeah.
But utilize the technology. And I like that what she said. Put in your calendar, okay, I'm gonna make these texts or these phone calls. And social media is right there.
Yeah.
Send a message. And the reason why I say pay homage, the elderly or even the older, doesn't even have to be the elderly. It drives them. It fuels grandson is calling me. Oh, my nephew is calling me. Oh, that does something to them. So as they get older, they need that. When someone is in a hospital and you see a whole bunch of family members, it's God, number one. But it's not always those doctors that heal them. It's that support.
Yeah.
It's that support when they say, oh, my goodness, all these people are here. Okay, I feel good. And then it's the chemical balance in your brain that helps you heal when you have that love and support.
I feel you on that.
So that's the way I look at it.
Oh, man. All right, gotta make some calls, goddamn. I gotta make some calls. All right, gotta make some calls. What you call it? Yeah, so it's a good question. So what is a man, and what are some biggest changes you've noticed in today's men versus older generations?
The vulnerability, okay. My dad, my granddad's still alive, 99 years old.
Wow. Shout out to him.
Dad, yes. And they don't show any emotion. And I'm not talking about that feminine emotion. I'm talking about, come here, son, great job. Oh, damn, your little ass can play basketball. You're pretty good. Great job. Here, let me give you a hug. Let me talk to you. And it's not always the structure part. So the older generation, that's what they were taught, man. Don't cry. Be tough. Go to work. That's not what life's about.
Yeah.
Because a lot of men to this day are not treating women correctly because they're not releasing those pain points that they have. It can be anything, any trigger, but we got to release those pain points. We got to be vulnerable. We got to say, man, my fault. I can't do this anymore. But we were taught not to cry, not to do anything. But once you cry, once you sit there and pray and cry over some things, whether it's sad, whether it's happy cry, it's a relief.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Now I agree with being able to release and having a moment to cry and feel your emotions. You know what I mean? But one of the things, and I always say I'll never do it again. You know what I mean? Even though like I feel like you want your woman to be your peace. I always say I'm at war when I leave the house. I'm out fighting for my job. I'm fighting on this job. I'm fighting for my business. I'm always fighting. You know what I mean? So when I'm chilling with what will be my woman, I'd like it to be peaceful if possible. I don't want it to be just another battlefield I'm on. You know what I mean? So
Great point.
But
Great point.
I always said one of the biggest mistakes that I made in my last relationship to me was when I did cry in front of my girl. You know what I mean? I don't know. I felt like, I don't know. I guess it wasn't, and later on, based on the hot truth, I felt like it maybe wasn't a safe space. You know what I'm saying? Because you are worried about, you're supposed to be the symbol of strength, the symbol of that rock stability. You know what I'm saying? And
But it's okay to cry, and you still can be those things.
Yeah, but I don't feel like the mindset of a lot of women are that susceptible to that. I don't know. It's difficult. It's a real level of vulnerability to have, and I feel like most guys, if they were going to do that with anyone else around, it would probably be just with their woman. You know what I mean?
Understood.
But
now,
again,
I'm sorry. Back to the man part. Everybody have their own opinion, but it's character based for me. It's God fearing for me. It's taking care of your household, taking care of your children. We all make mistakes. We all do some things. You got to be. You got to understand that everything that we do, everybody's watching. The black man.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching. From work, from the mother-in-law to the father-in-law, to everybody's watching.
Yeah.
So it's a challenging road for us. And racism still stands.
It does.
It's a challenging road for us. But the character of a man, the God-fearing man, the man that understands that you're going to fail, you got to get back up, and a hard-working man. And once again, taking care of your family. You know, in a relationship, men or women, you see how they treat their mother, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
You see how they treat their kids, there's a deal breaker. Once again, I don't care how much money you make, brother. I don't care what kind of power you have, what kind of business you have, what position or what title you are in your company. If you're not taking care of home, if you're not married and you're not taking care of your kids, you're not doing people correctly and have a character base and a God-fearing, I don't look at you as a man.
I feel you on that. That makes sense to me because it goes into what I be thinking about when I think about a man. It's like, really, it's just responsibility to a degree. That's what I think about the most, you know what I'm saying? Because when I think about a king, it's like the ultimate level of responsibility. And I feel like any man that runs from responsibility robs himself of purpose in his life. Because you want to be a king, but if you really think about the position of a king, he's responsible for every corner of the kingdom. You know what I mean? If you see in the movie, be sitting there, people coming to him with problems. He's got to take responsibility for the farmers, responsibility for the army, responsibility for the defense of it, the growth of the full future of it. Like you can't. They only see the parts where he might be partying or have like another little opulence with the ladies and stuff like that. But you don't see all the responsibility. You know what I mean? So in the different areas you was talking about, taking responsibility for your health, responsibility for being a father, and being about taking that responsibility on. You know what I mean? And really taking ownership of the situation, you know what I'm saying, and putting it on you instead of like being like, that's not my problem. Guys be like, God, that's not my thing, and nothing I could do about it. You know what I mean? This whole this resigned attitude. You know what I mean? Like, hey, whatever happens is gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like no, you have a big effect on what happens. You know what I mean? It's your responsibility. So
Huge piece.
I respect everything that you were saying on that for real. You know
I'm still learning. I'm still growing.
It's always always forever a student of life is what I say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The moment you think you know everything, life gonna have another lesson to teach you. You know what I mean? Just wait on it. It's coming. You know what I mean? So the other question I have on here is about how much have you dealt with? I have weak/jealous men. You know what I mean? I always say a man without his own kingdom is a threat to yours. You know what I mean? He might look at what you have and envy the success. You know what I mean? Just be mad at you for no reason. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Have you dealt with any of that?
I'm quite sure I have, but those are distractions. I'm so locked in and focused what I'm called to do, I don't pay it no mind. But it goes on.
Yeah.
It goes on from friends you thought was friends. My dad always taught me action. And once you see no support, once you see no phone calls, once you see those type of things, you know, it's a little jealousy going on or, you know, something's going on. But those are distractions. So I don't give it time.
Yeah.
I don't give it thoughts anymore because that'll be a distraction to me of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's not just here in the city, in the world.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help and shift the mindset of our young man throughout the world every single day.
Absolutely.
And if I sit there worried about who the jealousy, the envy, the weak, I'm not going to complete my mission.
Yeah, it can't give it more energy than that because you can lose that energy elsewhere.
But it goes on.
It does.
It goes on. It used to affect me. That's how I know to let that stuff go.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Who's for you, you will see who's for you. That action again, my dad taught me. That action is a bad piece, man.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk me all you want to.
Yeah.
But that action piece, that's what I live by.
The rubber meeting the road, man.
That's
the
it.
Rubber meeting the road. That's another reason why I value a lot. I value a lot in my life as a business mentor and all the things you give me because I learn a lot from YouTube videos. Right, I learn a lot, but it's different when, like I always say, when the rubber meets the road. Everything before that is just theories and ideas and hypotheticals. You know what I mean? Until, all right, this actually happening, it's actually taking place. What's actually happening in this exact moment when this thing is actually about to go on? You know what I mean? Like not what might happen, what could happen. The top 10, like no, what's actually happening at this exact moment? And because of how I work with you, I've felt a lot of rubber meeting the road, a lot of bumps. You know what I'm saying? But that's real experience. You know what I'm saying? Real knowledge growth. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the patience you've had with me too, because I know it's not always easy. You know what I mean?
You got to have patience with me as well. Nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
It's improvement.
Exactly. That's why one of my mottos that I go by is progress over perfection. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, is it perfect? Nah. Is it better than it was last week? Better than it was yesterday? Yeah, by like 0.5%. As long as you keep improving at 0.5%, 1% every day, you'll look up a year later and be surprised where you're at. You know what I'm saying? So progress over perfection is one of my things I go with, man. You got to keep shooting. Keep shooting.
Good word. I like that.
That's what you call it. Yeah, my next one I had here was lack of support from family. You know what I mean? I don't know. It kind of bothers me. It still bothers me. You know what I mean? Especially when, like, this is when it gets into the whole thing of, like, siblings or, like, you feel like your parent have, like, a favorite. You know what I mean? And you feel like everything they do, the whole family showing up. You know what I mean? Even when they falling off, you know, they still, like, invested in them. And you be doing so much, just working so hard, making so many strides, but ain't no attaboys coming your way. You know what I mean? Ain't no, yeah, go get them. You know what I mean? No, ain't no represent. You know what I mean? Ain't none of that coming. You know what I mean? It'd be like, well, damn, y'all not. I'd be like, damn, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, what I got to do? I got to run for president for y'all to acknowledge what the hell I'm trying to do here. You know what I'm saying? You don't see how, but, you know, and it can be discouraging to a degree, but also I use it as motivation more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, whatever puts a chip on your shoulder, whatever makes you, you know, have to prove. Because sometimes, there's other guy I listen to, he talks about, he had a book called Choose Your Enemies Wisely. You know what I mean? And he explains in the book, he's like, having an enemy or making an enemy isn't a bad thing. He said God has enemies. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about how that enemy affects your life. How do you use the energy that has, that adversarial thing, that this Jordan, the Last Dance, even when no one else on the other team was messing with him, he would make like something happen. Because he needed that rivalry, that energy to push him to activate his competitive nature. You know what I mean? He needed an enemy. You know what I mean? And sometimes that enemy could just be the misconceptions of who they thought you was. So, but how does lack of family, that energy, that lack of support, how do you transmute that?
Once again, I used to deal with it. It used to hurt me, but everybody living a modern, hectic life, and this is not their vision. This is my vision.
Yeah.
This is what God gave me. But the support part is exactly that. When you're in business, you want to do business. Shout out to Wallow. You know who that is?
Yeah.
He said there are 8.1 billion people in this world. Reach out to them.
Yeah.
When you're doing business. When your family supports you, if you're selling something, if it's a phone call just to say great job or whatever, that's support. We in business now.
Yeah.
We need to do business.
Yeah.
So we need to meet new people that don't even know us to buy a product, to buy our services.
To expand, yeah.
To expand. Family, once again, friends. Mine is more friends. My family, thank God, supports me. I get calls from Arizona, from Vegas, from New York.
Wow.
Great work. Amazing work that you're doing. And I'm going to do this no matter what.
Regardless.
But it fuels me.
It does help.
It fuels
does
me.
help.
Now, as far as the friend side, it just don't happen.
Oh, man.
Look, it just don't happen. I'm done with it, though.
Yeah,
I'm just focused on what I have to do. And my mother always taught me, people are not going to do you like you do them. I support everybody. I'm going to share it. I'm the network king.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring people to you. I'm going to do all of that. But do I get that back in the work that I'm doing? Nah. Did it used to bother me? Yes. But now I'm just so focused on the mission.
Yeah.
Those are just distractions.
Yeah.
And when your friends and family support, that's all it is. Right now, we're trying to do business.
Yeah.
Doing business is...
You need other people.
You need those other people.
Yeah. I feel
So focus on that.
I feel you on that 100%. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So how do you feel about I think my generation is the 25 to 35. I'm right in the middle of that, something like that. So I think that's the millennials. And then you got the Gen Zs, which is the younger guys. You know what I mean? Their upbringing and the stuff. Like I was talking about how life is coming at them fast. You know what I'm saying? How different are they really? Because I didn't get to interact with your generation when you was younger, but you saw how it was when you was younger. You remember your friends back then. You know what I mean? How different is it today? Are the kids the same? Are they different? You know what I mean?
Different.
You know, how are they different than they were back in the day?
Give me those ages again.
From
30 to 35?
Yeah, from 25 to 35, and also then the younger one would I guess be from 5 to 15.
The 20 to 35, salute. Y'all doing, y'all taking this thing to another level of entrepreneurship. It's at an all-time high right now.
Yeah.
That's why so many jobs available, because you guys are finding your niche. Even if it's a single-parent household, the system raising them, you're motivated to do better. And then, not to say, but I speak facts, you guys have more opportunity and tools and technology to do so now.
Yeah.
And I see that is happening. It's more maturity. Yeah, you still have these individuals who need to shift their mindset, but I'm seeing a lot of more entrepreneurship, a lot of more mental health going on, a lot of more financial literacy with your age group, and it's gratifying to see. I done told you many times before.
Yeah.
In my 30s, I knew how to make money, but I wasn't focused on business. I was just spending, having fun, chasing the
I
girls.
know what that's like.
Yeah, I just was doing that. But looking at you all at 30, 35, before 40, doing a wonderful work. And I'm talking on the masses. I see a lot more of you all just into what you want to do and expressing it and putting the work in, as opposed to, I had this conversation with you before. Me in my 30s, I made the money.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I faced a lot of L's of money I've lost on things. That's part of what made me, because last year, I always say, like, I was saying, like, the depression is expensive. That's what I was saying. So I had got out of the 5-6 year relationship, and I let her have the apartment, move back with my mom's, and I picked up the 2 jobs or whatever, and I was really just trying to just work more because I wanted to distract myself from whatever emotional feelings I was going through. You know what I'm saying?
Turning
so I was
your
like,
pain into power.
yeah, if I'm gonna just keep working, because then I won't have time to dwell on it too much. You know what I'm saying? So, but what happened was I was then trying to fill that woman void. So, long story short, I just remember looking at my bank statement. I still don't remember how I did it, and I'm mad because I'm not even making as much as I was. I'm still mad about it. But I had all my checks going into my Chase account, and my Chase account showed me my average spending, and it showed me what I spent for 4 months, for 4 or 5 months. And I had nothing to show. When I say nothing, like no fly clothes. I had now I ain't have no Jordans. No, I had nothing to show for real. All I was doing was just like eating way too good, going on way too many dates. You know what I'm saying? Like, it said I spent no less than, like I said, from January to April or March, like for 4 months of the year. Said I was spending like $4,500 a month. You know what I mean? And I just. I couldn't tell you where the money went. I could not tell you, because at the end of that, I looked at it, I was like, that's like 20 G's. What did I do? And then that June, the first thing I bought was my phone, because I knew that I was going to use that for the camera. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm going to start buying equipment. Then 2 months later, I bought the laptop. You know what I mean? Then I started, I'm going to start. And then, of course, my money went down because of the hours, whenever, because it was an opening season of a restaurant, but whatever. But the point is, I seen so much money leave my hands. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, what did I spend that on? Even when I first moved to Detroit in 2015, I was working 2 jobs in New York, and I wasn't paying rent. Really, I was paying like an electric bill and my phone bill or whatever. So I had like $5,000-$6,000 saved up in my account when I first moved out here. And I watched it turn into nothing. I didn't have a job when I first moved out here. It just evaporated. You know what I mean? So I watched $6,000 in savings just turn into nothing. And then I sat there a couple years later and did the same mistake on a bigger scale. Just watch 20 G's just lifestyle, just BS, just going out to eat, just living like I was King Hut or something. You know what I mean? So it was just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
lack of knowledge.
Financial,
you grow from that.
Yeah. Financial mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Just be the biggest L sometimes. It's the biggest L, and it takes a lot to learn from that. You know what I mean? Another question I wanted to have for you here is, how do you feel about the cancer culture? You know what I mean? I feel like as much as we've been talking about, being more emotionally intelligent these days than how they were back in the day, I feel like the tolerance for differences of ideas, you know what I mean? I feel like some people have gotten canceled for the littlest things, you know what I mean? So I feel like there's a lack of tolerance to different ideas of thinking about things, you know what I mean? So how do you feel about this cancel culture that's coming up?
It's for an example, when we talk about unity amongst our people, when we talk about togetherness, it is canceled out because they want to look at the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
And what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have that. They don't want us to come together.
Yeah.
They don't want us to be powerful. They don't want us to open our own grocery stores.
Yeah.
They don't want us to be financial literacy.
Yeah.
They don't want that. So they find a way to, put us against each other. But now, it's a lot of us that's coming to our senses. And what I mean by that, even in the hip-hop industry,
Yeah.
our brothers are going independent. They're not signing with Sony for the bread. They're doing their own thing because it's a puppet thing, man, in my opinion. That money we didn't come up with, none of us, from the hood. So when they want us to talk about bitches and hoes and all of this, we do it.
Yeah, because the money grab.
Because of the money grab.
Because of the money, you know what I mean?
When we come together and talk about a workshop of financial literacy, when I ask my friends or, a group of guys, hey, let's have a meeting and talk business, they won't show up.
I'm telling you, because
They won't show up.
I've had guys that I was talking about, they was all gangster and all of this, and I made a joke with him. He was like, nah. And he was like, yeah, I'll make one call, I have 30 guys up here in 2 seconds with them things ready to do all this and that.
We all can do that.
You know what I mean? And I was like, all right, but if you needed to renovate your house and you made that same call,
see what I mean?
Are they gonna show up with different type of hammers to do some work? No, they ain't like, nah, they ain't gonna. So like, wow.
Nope.
Wow. So when it's time for destruction, they ready. You know what I'm saying? But when it's time for construction and building something, you know what I mean? All of a sudden that same energy is not behind that call. You know what I mean?
And cancel culture is, once again, politics.
Yeah. Politics
are needed, but distractions.
That's another thing too. Yeah, the politics of things, I want to come up with new ideas, but I can't. I'm attracted to some of the old ideas. You know what I mean? Like I felt Dr. King in the end, where he felt like the integration wasn't necessarily the best thing for the people. You know what I mean? Because I look at things like Black Wall Street, how it existed back in segregation times. So I always say, when he was at our worst, we were at our best. When we were going through the worst stuff, we were the strongest as a community. At one point, statistically, they said we were the highest married group in the nation. We was married at 80%.
Yes.
They said we was the most married race of all the races. And now the Black woman is the least married woman in America. A Black woman today has a 1 in 4 chance of getting married. You know what I mean? Which is crazy.
Crazy and strategic.
Yeah.
They strategically do that.
Yeah, it bugs me out. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean?
We have to take that back as a culture.
Yeah.
Like unity.
Yeah.
Stop having competitions. You're unique in what you do. I'm unique in what I do. See how we can help each other.
Exactly.
And if we can't help each other, see if somebody that I know that needs your services are likewise.
Exactly.
We're not doing that. We're not coming together. We're not doing what the speech Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Come together. We're powerful together. We're better together. It's principle. It's in the Bible. Mm-hmm. You gather a bunch of brothers up and we praying. We're better together.
Exactly.
Regardless of what the case may be.
Exactly.
We are better together. So I'm seeing a lot of things change. I'm seeing a lot of us waking up, and I'm saying waking up. I'm not disrespecting anyone, but it's the average mindset that they want us to have. And then we grew up in our parents' home, not breaking a cycle. I love my mom and dad. They taught me so much. But one thing they didn't teach me, because they wasn't taught, financial literacy.
Yeah.
How to save.
That's
what you're talking about, how to invest. We have to break the cycle so we can teach our children, your sister, our young people coming up, that financial literacy will change your life.
It will.
People are depressed. People are killing. People are robbing. People are stealing because they don't have. Mm-hmm. But the opportunity is out there for us to have.
Yeah.
You can have the job, but they want the Gucci belts. They want this. Yep. That's okay to have, but what's in your bank account?
Exactly.
Then they want to go gamble, but what's in your bank account?
That's another thing.
What's in your saving account? I'm not knocking nobody for doing what they do. I'm not perfect, but that financial literacy is powerful.
And it's addicting. See, I never had no problems with gambling at all. I was never a gambler. But when they made it legal to do the sports betting thing on the phone, when they released FanDuel and sports, whatever the hell, amongst the people, I know for a fact the amount of people gambling went up, because all of a sudden then they let the casino in there too. Now I can play. I knew from GTA 5 doing in the casinos in there doing blackjack in there that I will stay away from any blackjack table, because I like it. I have too much fun there. And now they put blackjack on my phone. I ain't got to go to the I ain't got to go to the casino to do it. I'm telling you, you all on my phone with it. You know what I mean? So and low key, the sports betting is low key got me back into paying more attention to sports, because Because now I'm like, now I got something riding on the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's just terrible. I understand they make more money, and hey, I've made some money sometimes, but it's got to the point where they got a bunch of parlay memes. I was one leg off. I've made some crazy parlay. I've never played a lottery in my life, but I think these parlays low key should count as a lottery ticket sometimes. You know what I mean? Because
it's okay. It's fun for people, especially people in sports, but what are you investing your money in also?
Exactly.
What your savings account look like?
Yeah.
What your 5-year, 10-year goal look like financially?
Yeah, I know some people that have like their check wasn't what they needed it to be. You know what I mean? And they really took their whole check and put it on sports betting, thinking that I could double this check. I could make more money out of it. And then they mess around and crap out. You know what I mean? And just
need help.
Man,
that's help needed.
Man.
That's a difficult one. The financial literacy is a difficult one.
It is.
We have to educate ourselves to do better with financial literacy. The parlays, the betting, that's okay. I'm not knocking nobody to do it, but what are you investing your
But that whole thing is the whole. And I always say this, a lot of it is the culture. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. It'd be so hard for dudes to not look a certain way how they want to look, you know what I mean, to take that L up front. You know what I mean? They got that quote by Jim Carrey, you know what I mean? If you're not allowed to, if you don't want to lower your lifestyle for a year to live how you want to live for 5-10 years, and you care too much about what people think about you, you know what I mean? But it's hard, you know what I mean? That social pressure. I remember growing up, I never understood it because it's like I was never the flyest growing up ever, you know what I mean? But my mother, she paid for everything. Like I was born on welfare, but I only lasted maybe like 2-3 years. And my mother, she was paying for everything. We lived in a little house in Queens, whatever, when we moved out there. You know what I mean? And we was in apartments, whatever. And I used to always go to school with the guy. And the rest of my friends would be stunting on me with the BB belts with the stones in them and the foam posits and the True Religion jeans was popping back. They had Trues on. Everyone was just fly. I remember I used to always want a rugby shirt, a polo rugby shirt. They had the polo rugbies. They had everything, bro. And I'd be like, damn, these guys is all rich. You know what I'm saying? But then they all live in the projects. And then I would see their moms and they all live with the card and stuff. And it used to break my brain. I'd be like, what? Are you poor or rich? I can't tell. I can't tell. Because all I know is this. All the shorties was looking at them. You know what I mean? It wasn't looking at me. I was like, hey, I live in a house. Damn, I wasn't trying to hear that. You got on New Balance, all right? He got on, you know what I'm saying, some next John. You know what I'm saying?
We went through that
you know
in
what
our
I mean?
generation also. The silk shirts, the forms, the Jordans, and all of that. And I like those things also.
Yeah, I do too.
I was able to work. I was able to work through school. I was able to work and make some money and get those things that I like. And you're able to get those things when you're young if you work for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what are you investing in?
Yeah. I remember I saved up for 4 months to get $250 to buy a pair of these Jordan 2s that I had liked. You know what I mean? I remember the other time I saved up because it was Kanye back when he had like the Good Music group, then the Good Music thing. I remember he did this cypher one time, and in the cypher he had everybody wearing Ray-Bans in the cypher. You know what I mean? And I don't know why I loved Kanye back then, but he made me want a pair of Ray-Bans so mother effing bad, and I saved up so much. I think it was like $150 to get them Ray-Bans. And ain't no one else in the school had them Ray-Bans. You heard me. I was like, yeah, my shit real with a little signature on the side. Couldn't tell me nothing with them. I got a pair of Ray-Bans to this day just for that reason. I still love them to this day. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like one of the only.
I respect that.
I always wanted them.
It's okay to get what you want. I mean, in abundance, we can get it, but where your priorities laying at?
Yeah.
Like how much you got saved, but you got a $400 Gucci belt on.
Exactly.
I mean, what's in the bank account?
That's what I always used to say. That's why I was always chilling with the dudes on the block. It was crazy. Whatever. We used to smoke in high school or whatever, and it was always the before the smoking. It would be like, so what you got on the L? What you got? Oh, he go pen on the roll up. He gonna put together for the bag for this, right? And I used to be never the flyest person in the group, but I always had 5 on. For real. I always was the one that had. I remember one time I ain't had no money that day for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And there was a lesbian couple in there, whatever. The shorty was like, "Oh, you good, Carl? You always got money on it. Oh, you good on this one? You always got." You know what I mean? And I was just. That made me happy. Like, oh, someone acknowledged the fact that I always got some dollars on it. You know what I mean? With these guys, be fly as hell. Like, yeah. Yeah. When I had not trying to do it, it's funny, man. I remember when I was younger, my mother used to give me like almost like $5 a day for like allowance, right? And I would like spend like $3 and save $2, and I saved up a little bit of money. So it was at one point I was like 13, and I had like maybe $300. You know what I mean? And some older people in my family would like need money and come. I let them borrow from me, but I would charge them interest. So they were like, oh, I need like $50. Like, all right, you gotta give me back 60. You know what I mean?
Wow, you had that at that age?
I was charged. Yeah, my grandmother showed me somewhere in the Bible where that was wrong. She said, listen, you ain't supposed to charge your family interest or something about charging interest is like against the Bible or something like that. So I stopped charging interest. You know what I mean? But I used to be the little piggy bank because I had a little money saved up. So I'd be like, he used to come to me, hey, I need like, you ain't gonna rob it. You ain't gonna rob a 12-year-old. I ain't rob you. You know what I mean?
But that's good to have at that age. Definitely
I used to try to. I tried to get my little sister on the same. I used to try to give her some money, but then she lost the purse with all the money one day, and I was like, "Come on, man." You know what I mean? She had like a good $50 in there. I was trying to give it because she couldn't even go to the store to spend, especially out here.
Yeah.
In New York, you know, I was walking to school. There's corner stores right there. I was gonna get to. If I give my little sister money, what store are you going to? You know what I'm saying? We gotta take it to the store anyway. I may as well pay for it anyway. So she had no business with it. You know what I mean? It's really funny. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Hold on. So I gotta do the British news headlines real quick. I'm gonna give them a couple headlines from around the world real quick. Let them know what's going on out there. I'm gonna try to have Shorty here do it. Let me see how that's gonna work. Yeah, she worked last time. But yeah, all right. Hey, are you there?
I'm here. What's up?
I need you to give me the top 5 headlines from America, the most recent headlines, top 5 headlines for America, and make it not too long. Go ahead. Pardon the load.
Here are the top 5 recent headlines from the U.S. 1. Russia's foreign minister invoked nuclear capabilities during a tense speech at the UN General Assembly, raising concerns about global security. 2. Israel's assassination of Hezbollah's leader escalates tensions in the Middle East. 3. Storm Helene continues to devastate the southeast, with the death toll rising past 40. 4. U.S. political campaigns heat up as the 2024 election nears, with key issues at stake. 5. U.S. imposes new sanctions on Iranian individuals linked to election interference efforts.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyways, bro, for more information on these headlines, feel free to do your own research.
You're welcome.
But yeah, shout out to ChatGPT. I'll be using her for the headlines, you know what I mean? Because she does a good job with that. She does. You know what I mean? They be up to date and everything. And I appreciate that. We're moving on to the brand building segment where we talk about the different, I always give an update on my brand and how it's going, the new things I've been trying to do, things I'm bumping my head on, you know what I mean? Just let them know a little behind the scenes of how things are going. But I always start with the guests. So as far as the brand building segment, what are some new challenges you're working on, maybe some milestones you might have hit, you know what I mean? Some things you're working on for the future. You know what I mean? Give them an update on the brand. How's it? How you working?
First and foremost, I got to thank God. Closing out this fourth quarter coming up. So we need to stay focused. You know, you need to write your plan down, write your short-term goals down, write your long-term goals down, and work at those things. So I'm at a checkoff list. You know, I wanted to be in high schools. I wanted our program to be in high schools and middle schools. I'm checking off the list. I'm getting those contracts now. I'm solving these problems that's in high schools, that's in helping out the teachers, the staff, and having a curriculum for the teachers.
Wow.
Because they're struggling with, we can relate to them. I'm just being honest. Yeah. We can relate to them. We have the patience. It's a gift. Yeah, teachers are great, but checking off the list. We're in schools now. I'll give you a sneak peek of other things that we're doing. We'll be in our first college.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That was a question I had later on, man. Shout out to the man. Yeah. Yeah, my guy doing I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Had a couple meetings, Wayne State, couple proposals I sent out. And You just got to be patient and continue to do the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
And I always want to level up. So I got to give a big shout out to my coach, Sean Moman, the Mr. Affirmation, who's giving me these strategies and the blueprints that we talked about. But I got to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the work.
Yeah.
It's challenging, but I'm doing the work. The business side, but being in colleges and able to have contracts and talk to the college students is a plus. It's a huge plus for me.
Wow.
And we also are having partnerships with the Children's Center, Ford Philanthropy, George Washington, Carver Academy.
Wow.
Doing some great things out here.
That's amazing.
And people ask me, you know, are you excited? Yes, I'm excited, but just still on a mission.
Yeah.
This is part of the mission.
Yeah.
Part of the mission. I got a lot of no's, but I got a lot of yeses also.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to solve a problem, trying to solve these problems. Our young people have anger issues. Our young people have hygiene issues. Our young people don't know how to respect women. So I can give you the blueprint on those things.
Yeah.
So in order for me to give you the blueprint, I got to be an expert or doing these things
Doing the work.
when people not watching.
Yeah.
Being character-based, being respectful, being a hard worker. So those are the little sneak peeks. There's some other things going on, but I'll just
I'm amazed. I'm amazed, man. Much praise to you. I
appreciate that.
Constant elevation. I love it, man. I love it. I love the fact that, because, you know, some people, you know, I know you got to stop and smell the roses and all that, but at the same time, that's not necessarily what got you here. You know what I mean? So it's a constant look at the future, constant, you know what I mean? So, and the other thing that helps you get to where you at is self-analysis. You know what I mean? So how much do you criticize yourself? You know what I mean? Or do you examine yourself?
Daily.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Daily. As a parent, as a son, as a mentor, as a coach, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, daily. I want to get better every single day. I don't make the right choices. I don't do the right things. So I talk to myself. I talk to God. I pray on it. And I try to do it daily. And I can give you an example. Last week, workshop you came to, I seen some things that I could have did better. And workshop is tomorrow, and I will improve on those things.
Yeah.
That's an example.
Yeah, and sometimes having the footage to watch back also helps you see things that you might have missed during the time. You know what I mean?
And that's what it was.
It helped me be able to see, like, how I did this when it was different.
Thank you for that.
No problem. No problem. I'm happy to help. You know what I mean? Listen, man, shout out to you, man. Listen, make sure I go support him, follow 2 Times Focus on Instagram, and give him all the love that the man deserves for all the positive work he's doing for our people out here, right? Because he doesn't get enough support, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? So,
I appreciate that.
so that's why I try to help. You know?
A word for all of our people, man. Stay strong. Keep God first. Treat people right. And do the work. Just do the work.
Do the work.
It's up to everybody get a turn in life. Everybody gets a turn, but you have to do the work. You have to find out your niche, find out your purpose. You know, ask God what your purpose is. I want you to write 5 to 10 things down that you love to do, and write 5 to 10 things down that you are good at. You'll find your purpose.
100% guaranteed. Guaranteed. You just got to.
I appreciate you, brother. Great work that you do as well. You know, I believe in giving people their flowers now. It's not wait till they're dead and they can't hear you.
Yeah.
Get their flowers now.
Why we still here? Why we still here? We can smell them.
That's right.
We can smell them. So I it's no problem, man. Like I said, you done a lot for me. You done a lot for me. Taught me a lot. If my fire wasn't already lit, it's extra lit. Now that I have you with me. You know
Iron sharpen irons. You do the same for me. I don't know this tech game. I don't know this technology game to the fullest, and you're helping me with that as well. So when you can, it's the thing I talk about, togetherness. When we can empower one another, sky's the limit, brother.
Exactly. Sky's the limit. I agree with that 100%.
Put your egos to the side. Put the competition to the side, and let's grow together.
I love it. I respect the hell out of it. It's something I live by. You know what I mean? Me with my brand, I can see to here what I'm at, like 619,000 views for the year. I recently bought this camera. You know what I mean? That I'm still paying payments on low key. It was an $800 camera though. You know what I mean? I had to pay at least half of it to roll down to get it rolling. You know what I mean? I'm looking. I got another opportunity with somebody that wants me to. They want me to film like almost like a music video for them. You know what I mean? But they're a little tentative about it. It's actually like a group of guys, kind of. You know what I mean? But I still trying to work out the logistics on that to see how I'm gonna pull that off. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's lots of new things I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to perfect the back end of it. I finally made a Square account. You know what I mean? So I can do point of sales. I'm stopping buying equipment for the next like maybe a couple weeks just so I can get the business account together. You know what I mean? Just solidify the back end and a lot of the business things you was talking about, making sure things are in place so that I can give Uncle Sam his piece and I can do like real business on the up and up. You know what I'm saying?
You have to get ready.
Yeah, I have to get ready. I want to build the pipelines for sales and get my website together. And I mean, I finally started posting on my professional pages because obviously I had a professional page for a while. I haven't been posting on it. Now I got more reason to be posting. Got to get that active. You know what I mean? So I'm working on that. I'm gonna try to take more pictures and do more drone photography around it. I got to get more pictures because some of the ones I have I'm not that happy with. So I got to make sure I'm really able to present the quality that I could push out. You know what I mean? So I'm always growing, trying to do better. You know what I mean?
Congratulations.
Just one little step at a time. Thank you.
That's the main thing. We can't stay the same.
Yeah.
Do something different, you get the different results. Don't be scared. Don't be fearful. People just want to be level out.
Yeah.
No, we want to level up.
Yep.
And in order to level up, you're going to feel uncomfortable.
Yep.
And once you feel uncomfortable, it's really not a good feeling. But once you see the results, you understand why you was uncomfortable.
That's where you grow.
Double the impact.
That's where you grow.
Double your result.
I've been majorly studying the major thing I've been studying right now is for these skits. I have a couple people that have agreed to be like actors for me. You know what I mean? Like so now I got the actors. You know what I mean? I got the cameras. You know what I mean? Now I've been working on actually building a script. I've learned how they do the scenes, learning filmmaking. You know what I mean? Because I don't want it to be just another skit on Instagram. I want to know how do I film this to really set myself apart and really put my skills as a cinematographer on display while capturing this storyline or doing this comedy thing. And that's another thing too. I don't plan to just do comedic skits. I want to do some drama skits as well. You know what I mean? Get some emotional skits, like different genres of filmmaking. You know what I mean? Not all comedy. You know what I mean? But all done at a high level, you know what I mean, to as high as I could push it, you know what I mean? So I've been learning a lot about script writing. I've never written a script in my life. I've never written a screenplay or even a loose one, you know what I mean? But I'm learning the structure. I've been reading a lot about it, you know what I'm saying? And learning what do I have to give the act, learning how do you get the best performance out of your actors? So I'm learning a lot about before I just call myself a director on the set, you know what I mean? I gotta learn a lot, you know what I mean? So I've been working on that. The skits are coming. I know I got a couple of people that was like, hey, he said I could be an actor. I'm waiting on mother. Listen, I got to give you something to do. I'm not just going to show up and not have nothing. By the time I call you guys to do the skits, I'm gonna have it lined up. I'm going to have A to B, each scene, each shot, each thing already mapped out so you know exactly what I want from you. And that's going to give you a better job of giving me what I want. That's going to be a better job of making a project be what I want it to be. You know what I mean?
I believe it, 100%.
So
let me tell you why I believe it. Because I watch your work ethic. Your work ethic is impeccable. I admire your work ethic. It's everybody don't have that.
Yeah.
Everybody want the microwave effect.
Nah.
Put it in the microwave and think results are going to come. You have to be patient. Put that thing in a slow cooker and work. No matter what, just keep showing up, showing up. And that's how I see you do.
I try.
You get frustrated.
Yeah.
I get frustrated.
Yeah.
But when you continue to show up and continue to have the ability to put the pride to the side and listen to others so you can grow, key point.
Yeah. My grandmother is one of the major reasons that she helps me with that, because one of the things she taught me from very, very young, I always give her credit for it. It's a very good quote she gave me. She says, correction is love.
Correction is love. You didn't gave me a couple quotes. I should have had a notepad here.
Yeah. She said correction is love, because it's not always what you want to hear, but if someone's not invested in your future or someone's not investing in you, they'll see you messing up, doing self-destructive things, and they'll just laugh at you or just say whatever, you know what I mean, and move on. But if they are invested in your future, then they're going to tell you what you need to do or change and put you under a microscope, let you know some of the things that you're doing wrong, some things you need to improve on. You know what I mean? It's not always what you want to hear, but because of that, I take criticism differently because I see correction as love. I do. Oh, you telling me what I'm messing up on? You mean you didn't just run away and said forget him? You know what I mean? You trying to work through it? Well, I'm gonna take that correction as you giving a fuck because that's what I've been taught to have it mean. You know what I mean? So correction is love, and I always respect that. You know what I mean? So listen, you got to be able to. You don't know everything, and you don't know everything. So if God is giving you people with knowledge and things to teach you, you got to be able, you got to humble yourself and accept that love that they're giving you because correction is love for real. You know what I mean? So with that, we'll move on to the next half of the docket. All right. So men's mental health. You know what I mean? We was talking earlier about men being stoic and things like that, but I feel like men's mental health, there's not a lot of sympathy, but let me break it down section by section. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was homeless men versus homeless women. We all know how many more homeless women in kids' shelters there are versus homeless men shelters. You know what I mean? So how do you feel about the disparity between and how it's even looked at between a homeless man and a homeless woman?
First and foremost, we don't talk about it enough. We just see it. We're not doing enough. We just talk about it. Good deeds is doing something about it. And doing something about it is not always finances. It's trying to help out the cause, seeing where we can help it out at. There's no difference to me. It's a human being homeless. That's the way I see it. I don't see men and women or versus. It touches my heart because I work in this field now and I see a lot of homeless young people and they're not talking about it.
Nah.
It's at an all-time high.
It is.
It's at an all-time high, and it needs to be discussed. Once you discuss something and put awareness out to something, you're going to have your good people with good deeds that want to step up and do something about it. Breast cancer, yes. Yes, we need to be talking about breast cancer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of survivors. I wear my pink shirt. I donate. But let's talk about the homeless just like we talk about breast cancer.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. So the stories I've heard, because growing up in New York, I got a lot of friends that are my age in New York. That one thing at first I was mad when I moved out to Detroit. Right now I'm very, very grateful that I moved out to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Because I know mad friends that, listen, rent in New York is nothing to play with. I know friends that was homeless for 2 months, homeless for a month, homeless for taking showers, the gym membership, you know what I mean? Had to find a different way, had to get a storage unit or something, like had to figure it out. And you know something? I'm not going to say, I do feel like it's a little easier in Detroit, because even if you were, at least, because I've heard people arguing over squatting in the house. You know what I'm saying? I've heard people, I'll squatting here first type of thing. Like, this is just an abandoned house in Detroit. But at least you have abandoned houses to squat in. There's no abandoned houses in New York. You homeless, every house there's no abandoned houses in New York for you to just go squatting like that for real. You know what I mean? And those ones, they be trap houses. Like, they just don't exist. There's no abandoned houses really in New York like that. At least you can maybe find a place to squat in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So
I challenge the authorities, brother. I'm sorry, I have to challenge the higher ups with the funding to help. And we're spending funding on things that's not even necessary.
Yeah, for real.
So it's at an all-time high. And then we gotta, when I say have a discussion, we gotta see why. We need to find jobs for some of them.
Yeah.
We need to, some of them are experiencing they're on the spectrum with mental health. They can't work. So we need to have a discussion. We can't save everybody, but let's put more effort, more engagement, just like we do with breast cancer or something else.
Yeah. And this next topic I had on men's mental health is something that I personally, anyhow, as big as I grow, this is going to be something that I champion because I feel like in my whole life, I've never heard an actor talk about it or even an athlete. I don't think I've ever seen a commercial on it. I don't think I've ever seen anything on a topic like at a major level on male suicide. Meanwhile, the male suicide rate is literally 3 or 4 times the female suicide rate. Like, man, and the crazy part is when I saw the statistic, I still got to be checking sometimes to make sure it's for real. So wrap your head around this for a second. Mm-hmm. Suicide attempts. Suicide attempts. Women have more suicide attempts than men. But the male suicide rate is 4 times the female suicide rate. So you telling me more women try to kill themselves than men try to kill themselves, but successful suicides, men are 4 times. So, all right, before I say what I said, what reasons would you give for that? How can women be trying to kill themselves more than men are, but men's suicide rate effectively is 4 times the rate of female suicide? And have you ever heard anyone talking about it for real?
It's talked about now. It's a lot more awareness. A lot of people are. Mental health it's a broad topic. Meaning, there can be something really, really wrong mentally. Some triggers that you seen when you were a kid, that trauma that you never got over. But if no one helped you with it as a kid, then you carry that as an adult. And some people just don't think. They don't trust other humans to help them with their life. Mm-hmm. We have to have people that we gotta have trust.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. I was that person, man. I don't need no therapy, man. I can teach them some shit.
Yeah,
I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have a therapist for going on 6 years.
Wow, I respect the hell out of that.
And I need it. I had anger issues, brother. I had controlling issues, brother. I seen some things happen in our lives. My moms and pops, and my sister. I seen some things that happened that I shouldn't have seen at 11 years old. So we all need help at some point. So mental health, I'm starting to see a lot of people going to therapy. I'm starting to see a lot of people having counselors, a lot of people crying out for help. Because once you get that help, you'll see, oh, wow. This is how I've been acting for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Damn, I see why I'm single. Damn, I see why I don't have a job.
Yeah.
Because you have to take care of that issue that you have. And all of us have issues. Mm-hmm. It's not going to make us perfect. It's just we're going to improve on the things that we are weak in.
Yeah.
Anger.
It's a big one. Yeah.
I'm so smooth with it now, brother. I thank God because I'm so smooth. I was just angry about everything. You step on my shoe. You call it the short man complex or whatever. I want to fight. I'm getting irritated now. Yeah. Barely nothing can touch me, or things irritate me, but I won't go off like that, like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, because
it's not necessary. It creates more stress. It distracts you from what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So mental health is big, man.
It's really big.
It's big. We have to seek the help. Young man, older man, never too late, never too early. We have to seek the help.
We do. When I'm thinking of male suicide versus female suicide, I'm not trying to discount what's going on there, but like, I think that the reason why there will be more female suicide attempts than male suicide, because I feel like the value on female tears versus the value on male tears is not the same. So I feel like there are more women that will use a suicide attempt as a call for help. Not necessarily trying to kill themselves, but trying to do something to let their social group know that they're in need of, that there's a term called damsel in distress. There's no male equivalent term. You know what I mean? So I think the reason why these men, when they do decide to do it, they're highly successful is because they're not doing it as a call for help. I think there's a deep sense, a deep feeling that no one cares.
They don't want to be here no more.
No one cares about what I'm going through. I'm just seen as a weak man. And weak men are just fodder for the war. You know what I mean? They're not seen. They don't expect any sympathy from society for their inability to perform. Because men have the burden of performance more. There's just less sympathy, I feel like, for men going through that. And I feel like that's why they just check out when they do decide that they just done with it. You know what I'm saying?
You just taught me something. I didn't know those statistics. I'm going to put it in my mental notes to look further into that.
Yeah.
But that makes sense because we just have it harder, man.
We do have it harder.
We just have
We
it
have
harder.
it harder, man. The burden of performance on us is different. You know what I mean? And it's like, much as you go through hard stuff, you they got the whole for you. Got to man up. You're supposed to just. And sometimes some guys just don't got it in them that extra. Man, they just under a lot of pressure and they feel very alone in their troubles. You know what I'm saying? They don't think they have that support, and they don't think they could ask for help because it's embarrassing. I have to ask for help. You know what I mean? I got to ask somebody for something. I need $30. I need something. I gotta. Like, they'd rather just go try to rob somebody, do that than they're supposed to ask for somebody for something. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't, like I said, that safe space and everywhere is a battlefield. You know what I mean? There's no space where they feel like they could be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like, yeah, like the suicide rate for men is a reflection of how much they feel like society cares about the problems they're going through. You know what I mean? They're not trying to, they know it's a rap, you know what I mean? So, hey, oh, that's homie. Hey, man. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So yeah, the way how they feel about it is, yeah, they just don't feel like there's a lot of sympathy for them out there. I think that's one of the reasons why they do that. And I think it's messed up. It's messed up. I'm not even sure how I would go about, except for trying to create that safety net just for men. You know what I mean? That space just for men. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like a lot of the male spaces have been infiltrated or taken over. Like I always say this, right? Every time I say this, people are like, "Why? Well, why?" But I say, I want to one day. If I get enough money, one of the things I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a men's only gym. Now you see, they always like, "Well, why you need that?" First of all, women's only gyms already exist right now. That's number one, and number two, there used to be men only gyms. You know what I mean? But they just bitched and moaned them out of existence. You know what I mean? But no.
Like
I feel like one of the last safe male places in America is the barbershop. We still got the barbershop, but even then, we like men need to be around other men sometimes, and just men to be able to create a community for those men to be with each other. They need that. You know what I mean? So I wanted to create a male only gym. You know what I mean? I get controversial. Straight men only. I'm just saying, but you know, I'm just saying, man, like there needs to be a safe place for men to build strength together. You know what I mean? Like a safe place for men to be with other men to really talk about the problems they're going through. Because a lot they talk about like male friendships are on the low. There's a rise of loneliness epidemic in this generation because we're all separated with social media and we live in individual lifestyles. So the community is breaking down. You know what I mean? So we need more places to congregate as a community. You know what I mean? With like-minded people, you know what I mean, trying to better themselves. So I do want a men's only gym one day. They keep asking, well, you gonna get canceled for that? I'm gonna get canceled for this one. I got men's only. This is a women's only gym. Like that's crazy that people, a men's only gym. Like, come on, dog. That's crazy.
It's okay. First and foremost, I want to thank Children's Center. I have a partnership with Children's Center. I'm on a fatherhood committee, and we bring in all fathers to be.
Yeah.
Young fathers, old fathers, we're bringing them together and we having a safe place, exactly what you're talking about, so we can talk amongst each other with no women involved.
No women involved, you know what I mean?
And it's okay. We need them, but at some point we don't need them.
We don't.
So we got
at some
creating
point
spaces so that man's only gym, it will work. But when you have average-minded individuals, they're going to give you that feedback.
Yeah.
When you got people that's trying to grow, men that's trying to grow and do the right things and trying to elevate in their family, in their personal life and business, they all for that.
Exactly. But, you know, I think one of the major things against that is, I'm sorry to say, it's got to be the government against it to a degree because they know, that's the reason why they go after certain people, because they know. That's why, you know, I've seen so many influencers talk about their accounts being taken down or they're being messed with the Instagram. And then I see all the half-naked girls on Instagram growing their audience like no problem. You know what I mean? It's because men being distracted, you know what I mean? They like that. Men being focused and organized and building strength together. Oh, no. Hold on. Because they know men that are organized and building strength together, these men, that's how they don't want no opposition. Like at the end of the day, the fighting force, the ability to enforce things, like that's the men. You know what I mean? So anybody that galvanizes the male community, that promotes unity and trust between men and the male community, I feel like the powers that be are going to go ahead and try to just squash that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like,
right.
we don't need y'all being strong and collective and believing in each other and helping each other. And because they know men build nation. We'll build something together. We can build. We build everything. You know what I mean? So we do know where the strength is. The strength is in the men.
It's in the men.
It's in the men. You know what I mean? And that's why they don't want the men. They want I feel like today you encouraged to do everything but be a man. You know what I mean? You want to wear nail polish over clap for you. You want to do anything, I'm just saying, anything other than being a strong man, confident in his principles, standard, they're just like shunned upon for some reason. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, those are the exact men that we need. You know what I mean? Like I've heard females say it, and the thing is so funny. They be like, it's hard to find a handsome liberal man, or all the conservatives, or the great men, the most attractive men are conservative and traditional. You know what I mean? These liberal men, they don't like him. They're sassy. So you want all the liberal, but the men that are traditional, that are standing on business, those are the ones that the women are most attracted to. So meanwhile, they be all liberal, but the guy you want, he ain't liberal like that for real. You know what I mean? He's standing on business. You know what I'm saying? So
back to that character-based God-fearing, what we talked about earlier. That's important. That's so important.
Yeah.
Once again, it's not about what you look like, what you're making. It's that character, man. Character.
That's why I love so much what you do. You know what I mean? Because building the strength within men, having it. When I saw that your program was little boys only, I was like, this guy's on to something. This guy, I need to amplify his message. That's what I was saying, because we need that. We need some male-only spaces where we can build ideals and principles together and grow as a community. That is how things change for real. You know what I mean? And honestly, every other race of men, every other race of people, period, it's understood that the male of that race is that race's power. Mm-hmm. Like when we think about white people, we think it's the white man. We think about the Chinese man, but only when it comes to the black community do they want to say the woman is the backbone of the black community, of the black community. Not nothing against the woman, but to put the woman over the man, and no other race does that. You know what I mean? But with us, they want to put the black man below the black woman. You know what I mean? And act like we're not the strength of our people. You know what I mean? And that is damaging to the mindsets in the community, period. You know what I mean? Because women need that protection. We need that.
It is.
Who's going to protect them if not us?
But some of us are not stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
So they take matters in their own hands and become CEOs and go back to school and be the soccer mom and do everything. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Yes, we supposed to take that control, but a lot of us are not.
Yeah.
So when we're not, women can't wait.
Yeah.
So they're doing what they have to do.
I can't get mad at what they do in the absence of a man. You know what I mean? But we just need to make sure that absence is less and less prevalent.
There you go.
know what I mean? Like teaching young men to take up their responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? And because that's the true path to purpose in life. You know what I mean? Being responsible, I always say you expand your scope of responsibility with as much as you can handle. So you're responsible for yourself. All right, then maybe you have your family, you have your kids. All right, what about your block? All right, what about your kids' school? What about so you gradually expand what you take responsibility and ownership over, you know what I mean, to try to be as impactful as you can in a neighborhood. Like, there was back in the day, you had certain blocks that people didn't do certain things on because it was men that lead families on that block and they wasn't having it. You know what I mean? So, like, I really think that the strength in the black community is the men, and they haven't been empowered enough to really take up that mantle for real.
Wow,
you know
there's some great questions, man. Great work.
That's what I'm saying. But all right, so one of the last things I'll say, how do you feel about this concept here? It's something, one of the things I be telling to my little sister sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Might be controversial, I don't know. But how I feel about it is this, says Father Time, Mother Nature. So what I always tell her is like men have to build their value, and women have to preserve their value. It's like the inverse to different things. You know what I mean? So a man has to build his skills, build his kingdom, build his thing. A woman is sort of born with value. She has to preserve her value. You know what I mean? So I tell her, like, don't cheapen yourself. Look, you're great right now. You're the purest you could be. You know what I mean? You have to preserve your womanlyhood. You know what I'm saying? You have to preserve your value. You know what I'm saying? And men have to more build. That's why I say, like, that's always joke, like an 18-year-old woman versus an 18-year-old man on the dating market. right? They have completely different values, like as far as value on the dating market.
Right.
Like an 18-year-old woman, she's young. She has maybe had too much trauma. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like she's like probably 18-year-old man is like barely a man. He's like a man in love, but he's like, man, it's like, yeah. But a 30-year-old man versus a 30-year-old woman. Now that 30-year-old man is seen as an actual man. You know what I mean? He's done a lot more, has more experience, his ability to provide. He's built his value. Him 30 versus 18, he's way more valuable at 30 than he was at 18.
That's true.
But the same isn't always the same on the other side of the coin. You know what I mean? With that. So how do you feel about that concept? Any truth to it?
Absolutely. Absolutely, there's some truth to it. But once again, we are unique in our own way. And that mental health plays a part in what 30-year-old you're going to get, what 18-year-old you're going to get.
Yeah.
As a young fella, you saving money. 30-year-olds don't even know how to save money. Think about what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it all depends on the uniqueness and your upbringing and where you at, because there's some 30-year-olds that don't have it together.
No.
I'm talking with women.
Yeah.
Don't have it together. And there's some 30-year-olds like yourself that's put your best foot forward.
Trying.
Yeah, you put your best foot forward. So it's the uniqueness, it's the background, it's your level of faith. All of that plays a part, and that's just my opinion.
It does. It definitely does. Another question I have for you here, and you sort of touched on it before I got a chance to get to it. So you have a program with kids from 11 to 14. You also have a high school program. How does the curriculum or change between those different age groups, and which kids are harder to reach?
First and foremost, we service from the age of 10 to 23. But when we have our partnerships give us the ages that they want us to serve because of issues that they're having in their school or in their district or whatever.
Okay.
The 10 to 14 is a partnership that we have with Children's Centers. It's Dream Builders Workshop is what I created.
Yeah.
Yep. So those individuals are based on what the needs are at Children's Center. So they having behavior issues, anger issues, hygiene issues. So I tap into those things, and we already have it in our curriculum.
Yeah.
The high school, they're having the behavior issues. Some still have the hygiene issues, but they have a work ethic. The behavior comes with the anger, the disrespect, and all of that. So there's no change, because some workshops are for 10-year-olds all the way to a 30-year-old. Follow what I'm saying?
Now you still need these reinforcements of the lessons.
Yes. But there is a change in attitude and maturity that you do see. And our goal is to be patient and have those workshops, even our one-on-ones. We specialize in one-on-ones to be engaging, meet them at their level, regardless of what age they are. Meet them at their level. So I can meet you at your level at 10, can meet you at your level at 13, can meet you at your level at 23.
Yeah.
That 23-year-old, they talking about money. They don't know what they want to do. They and the girls and all of that. So I got to meet them at their level and strategically give them tools and a blueprint.
Yeah.
So they can be successful.
I respect that, because I've heard some teachers say before, yeah, I taught high school 1 year. I ain't doing it again. I'm going back to kindergarten. I'm going back to the little kids. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, well, what challenges did you run in with that 1 year high school that made you want to run back to teaching elementary only? You know what I mean? So
they all going through the same things, just at a different age level.
Different age level.
That's it. They all going through the same thing.
Wow, that's powerful. And I was gonna ask you. All right, so if you made a school, what are some changes you think that they need to make in school?
Hopefully I'm not, these teachers are different nowadays. These teachers have to play teacher, parent, social worker, so they're frustrated now. Back when I was coming up, teachers had patience, brother. They had passion and patience for us. Nowadays, a lot of these these kids are off the hook. They are. But if you equip what you need to do with them, eventually they will start changing.
Yeah.
the yelling, the cussing, even they looking at your facial expression when you're like, oh shit, here come this. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You gotta have the poise.
Yeah.
You gotta have the patience.
Yeah.
You gotta have the energy and the motivation and the encouragement for them. So I will evaluate these teachers a lot more. I don't understand. I don't know how we would do that, but the interview process, they do a great job. They went to school, get their degree, but you're dealing with a human being. You're not just teaching a lesson. You're dealing with a human being that have issues.
Yeah.
So we need to, you know.
One thing I agree with. One thing I'll say is that I feel like, not to put it on the men again, but I feel like I'm pretty sure that the percentage of teachers, as far as being male to female, I remember growing up that there's very few male teachers. You know what I mean? I think we need a lot more male teachers in the system. You know what I mean? A lot of the violence and a lot of the things that happens in some of the things doesn't happen in the men's class. So just think about all the clips you've ever seen go viral of something happening in a class, some disrespect or a fighting thing. What did the teacher look like in that class? That was when that was happening. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. Almost no male teacher. It ain't happening in his class. It ain't happening in his class, bro. It's not happening in his class, man. So I'm just saying, these kids are smart. They'll try who they know they could try. You know, and the other ones, they leave them alone.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So,
and there are some great teachers out here, but we also have to change this curriculum. We have to teach more financial literacy. We have to teach more about our culture. We have to teach more. We have to add more things to this teacher curriculum that they have.
This curriculum.
The government, the government classes, the English classes, they need to change up a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk more about our culture. Let us understand what our culture is. If we're not learning from home and learning from everybody else, let's learn in school. So the curriculum can change.
I agree with that 100%. Because I remember in high school, if you didn't pass that algebra regents in New York, you wasn't getting a diploma. Mm-hmm. So I remember I had to take algebra and I had to study it. You know what I mean? And luckily I passed it. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not using algebra right now. Mm-hmm. But you know, one class that was an elective that I could have not. It was an elective class, but I took that class and that was one of my favorite classes. It was a class on economics. When they was teaching me, how to write a check, or what percentage of your overall income should be your overhead, your house, your rent, or like teaching you personal economic practices and stuff like that. That class is an elective, but I must take algebra.
Go figure.
What are you talking about? Why do I never? You know how many times I had to call my mom and ask her what I was doing when I get a job and they put that W-1 to whatever one you got to fill out. And I'm like, well, what do I do? 0-1? Do I claim this I got to fill out that form? I don't be knowing, even to this day, I be a little worried about that tax form you get when you first get a job or what to do there. You know what I mean? It's like, why didn't y'all teach us this to everyone that gets a job? We have to fill out that tax form. Why didn't y'all teach us this one time? But algebra, the quadratic Pythagorean theorem. Like, listen, I'm not trying to bash algebra. I'm just saying that there's a lot more knowledge that's actually pertinent to everyday adult life that is simply not taught in school at all. You know what I mean? And I think that needs to be. And the other thing is that, like, I remember I had a physics teacher one time.
Physics.
It was a white man, and when he was teaching me physics, he was only there for like 3 months, and then he was replaced with another teacher. But whenever he was teaching me physics, whether it was inertia or whatever, falling, or terminal velocity, he always related it back to real world things that's actually happened that I've seen. You know what I mean? And it added a context and it added an importance to the knowledge. You know what I mean? Yeah, because a lot of times you learning stuff and it's like, why do I need to know this? Why is this important? So it doesn't make me want to learn it to a degree. But he kept bringing it back to real world situations. You know what I mean? That made a reason why I should learn this. And I was learning physics. Because of that, I was doing well in the class. And then they had another teacher who quite do it like that, and I kind of checked out in my mind mentally. You know what I mean? I wasn't as invested in it. I was like, damn, I wish I had that teacher back. I was enjoying the physics class because of how he was breaking it down.
Passion.
You know what I mean? And I had a math teacher I felt the same way about it. I was never a fan of math, but I got one math teacher, shout out Mr. Angelo, back in middle school. You know what I mean? Still remember the dude's name, you know what I mean? Because something about how he was teaching that math was the only math I was doing well in it, and I was understanding the stuff, and I was like, I was with it, you know what I mean? And they just need to do a better job of like, all right, I always make this joke, and I'd be like, education act like a girl with a big booty. Like you gotta deal with me. You need me. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, everything else is begging for my attention. YouTube begging for my attention. They're doing everything to get my attention. School act like, yeah, I don't gotta do that much. You need to deal with me. So I don't gotta have no personality. I don't gotta make it attractive. I don't gotta do anything extra because you need me. Everything else that I'm looking at is like trying to make it as catchy as possible, trying to make it as cool as possible. When you go to school, it's like you know, that's what I always say, history and science. I love learning about history and science on YouTube. But in high school, I hated history and science. I was like, y'all serving it up like tofu when it's really fried chicken. How come on YouTube it's fried chicken, but when you serve it up, it's tofu? And you wonder why I ain't trying to eat it like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
true.
So the way they teach, the passion, the way they do it, the way they contextualize the knowledge, you know what I mean? All of that matters. You got to make it matter to the kid. Don't just act like he better be interested in it, because if he's not, then you just got to like, nah, man, put in the same work that the YouTubers do when they want that subscriber, when they want that extra view. They're not going as hard as they do on other platforms.
Financial literacy needs to be broken down a whole lot more in schools. Teach entrepreneurship.
That too.
That's an option for us. I just told you, your generation is exploring entrepreneurship and excelling at it. And it's a great thing to see.
Yeah.
So why not teach it in school?
Yeah.
Why not prepare the young people now? At one of these workshops, I'm teaching entrepreneurship.
Shout out to Miss Purdy. She was an art teacher. I still remember you from PS42 in middle school. You was the only place I ever heard of it happen, and I signed up for the program. She had an entrepreneurship program. You know what I mean? What she did with us is what she took us, and I feel bad for her because she lost a lot of money because some of the kids didn't have the money to put up for their kids, so she put up the money for some of the kids. But the budget was like, I want to say it was like maybe $50. Mm-hmm. So she was asking for $50 for the parents, right? So the kids got $50. I remember I only had like maybe like 30 or 40, and then she gave me like $20. You know what I mean? I don't think I ever paid her back 20. I'm sorry, but you have to pay her back. But if you ever track me down with Purdy, I got you. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, she took the money and she took us on a field trip. It was somewhere in Chinatown, like a Chinese, somewhere where you could buy things in bulk. So she had us. She was like, all right, she's like, pick whatever item you want to sell. So there was like, we were doing it for a Mother's Day sales event in the school. So she had us take $50, go to a place that was doing wholesale. So I bought like 20 little mini bears that said "I love you, Mom" on them for like $10. I bought some bracelets, you know what I mean, for like a cheaper price. You know what I'm saying? I bought these things in bulk. Then they had us in the lunchroom. They had us each set up our little shops on the individual lunch tables and try to sell the product. You know what I'm saying? Try to sell the product. You went and bought it at wholesale. You're now here trying to sell it for a profit. You know what I mean? And it taught us a lot about some things was more successful than others. You know what I'm saying?
What's her name?
Miss Purdy.
Shout out to Miss Purdy.
Shout out to Miss Purdy, yeah, but black lady teaching us
Nice.
an entrepreneurship program. You know what I mean? So I still remember it to this day because that was like the first time I ever tried to sell something. For real, you know what I'm saying? And I remember I was not that successful because of the items I bought. I had bought these little these cards that opened up and sung a song for the Mother's Day thing. You know what I mean? Those did well, but the little bears didn't do as well. Another guy had another idea. One kid, his thing did well. He spent all his money on one item, but then made it like a raffle. Made people buy tickets to win that item in a raffle. That was his idea. He did well. You know what I mean? Because they're not even buying the item; they're buying a chance to win a bigger item. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So he was smart with his thing.
Nice.
You know what I mean? He was smart. Even at a young age, I give it to him. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's smart. That's interesting. And some people completely, and these are the ones that did the most well. It was funny. They completely ignored the Mother's Day theme, and they just bought stuff they thought the students would like fashion type stuff. They thought the students would like. And their stuff was selling out because everyone wasn't there to spend money on their moms. But for themselves, to look cool, yeah, they spend money on themselves. You know what I mean?
Change the narrative.
So there's all sorts of business things that I learned that went in different ways. And I mean, I definitely get the entrepreneurship because it teaches you business. You know what I mean? Buy low, sell high, or put money in the product. it's really interesting. It changes your mind too about a lot of things.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So shout out to that program. And we need more of that because that was the only one I ever really heard of growing up doing that. You know what I mean? So
middle schools, high schools, we need that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'm not trying to keep you too long here. I know we're running out of time a little bit. So yeah, I wanted to ask you. So how do you feel about some people feel like college is a scam nowadays? There's like college versus a YouTube university, they call it. You know what I mean? I say degree versus portfolio. You know what I mean? So how do you feel about the value that college has to offer today?
It's great value in college. I don't believe it's a scam because education is key to what this world are we dealing in. You got to play the game.
Yeah.
They set the tone. We have to play the game. And the game is you want to get educated, you want that job, or you want to get educated to be an entrepreneur, but there are always steps. Education is key, bro. It's key. It's key. It's, regardless of how they teach it or whatever, if you don't even get a degree, but you get the knowledge, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody. That's why we have trades.
Yeah.
That's why we have entrepreneurship. It's not for everybody, but we have to expose our children to college because they don't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
At least expose them to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't. The scam part is the funds, man. They can come down on the Sally Mae.
They
man.
definitely could.
Look, Sally Mae, I'm still paying your ass too. Look. That's the scam part. But as far as the education, you send a Detroit brother from the 48205 red zone. I'm just always speaking where I come from because it was grimy. And you send him to a HBCU, it would change his life.
Yeah, it will.
Oh, yeah, they going to get in trouble. They going to party. They going to do this, but it would change his life. He would meet so many powerful people. He would be around his culture that all of them are trying to do one common goal, graduate. But you don't always graduate. You just build those relationships. You join a fraternity instead of a gang.
Yeah, that's
So,
way better.
Yeah, I don't think it's a scam. I just think those funds are a scam. Those student loans and how much college costs. And I know the average family cannot pay for college, but at the same time, life be lifing.
Yeah.
So getting a full ride is not easy either.
No, not at all.
But the scam is the funds part. But
Yeah.
as far as the education, I think it's definitely needed. Expose them to it. Yeah. But you have successful people with just a high school diploma.
Yeah.
So it can work both ways.
It can.
But at least expose them to it.
At least I agree with that. I feel like the biggest thing I don't like about college, my biggest thing I always used to be mad about, and I really want them to stop, is prerequisites. Because the way I always used to say, all right, I want to take this class. You telling me before I can take this class, I got to take this one and this one. Mm-hmm. So I got to pay for this one and pay for this one just for the class that I really want. Now, if I take this one and this one and still pay and fail that third class, do I get a discount on trying again? Mm-mm. Like, no. So why can't I just take the class that I want to take? You know what I mean? And that because this still, like this mad college, they got like a good little film program thing or something. I would like, that class is only $800, $500. That might be a good investment. You know what? I'll take that one course for 6 months. But before I could take that one film class I want to take, I got to take this. Like, listen, man, I just want to learn that. I just want that class. That's all I want. And nowhere else in the world do I got to buy a grape before I could buy a banana or buy this before I could buy that. Like, I could walk to any store and just pick that. I want that. Goodbye.
But there's our steps. Those are the steps that we got to play the game.
Like, I want to learn that specific class, man. That's the only class I really want. They got knowledge in there that I want to get, and I want to talk to the professor and take that class for 6 months and then be out of there.
So let me ask you. Let me paint you a picture. The reason that is taking place is because they want to know that you can read. They want to know that you can do simple math because that's going to be in the film classes, whether if you think it is or not. Yeah. So I understand what you're saying. It's frustrating, but those are the steps we have to take. We can't just jump to that position. We got to take those steps. And those steps is, once again, we said it 20,000 times today, it's going to create that character. Yeah. And that patience. Yeah. Yep. You can't just get there. You got to take the steps. This is how they create it. So let's conquer it.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta play the game to change the game. So they say. You know what I mean?
Say it again?
Gotta play the game to change
Your
the game.
quote game cold, man. What?
I watch a lot of educational, motivational people, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be my best self, you know what I mean? I try to fill myself with the knowledge of people that are where I want to be at. So it's the only way. It's the only way we got to learn from somewhere, right? So I'll end it with this. Last 2 questions I have for you. What advice would you give to your 20-year-old self?
To listen more. To be more patient. To listen more and to be more patient. To listen more and to be more patient. Yeah. And I'm repeating because that's all that keeps coming to my head right now.
Listen more and be patient.
Yes. I thought I was the shit.
Couldn't tell you nothing, huh?
Thought I had it all together. Yep. I started making money early. I started working at the big 3 early, man. 22, got management jobs, making $60,000 back then.
Wow.
A year. You know what that is? You know what that was back then?
It's still good now.
I still had my issues and stuff like that, but I didn't listen. I didn't listen when my manager, I'm going to say his name, Eric DeWall. He, white guy, he said, $50 a share, put in Yahoo. What the fuck he talking about? Excuse my language, but I'm not listening to him. Right now, it's $3,000 a share.
Wow.
Didn't listen. That's just one of the things I didn't listen. Then my patience wasn't there in relationships. My patience wasn't there. And even at work, patience, listening, and patience.
Heard that.
I give my 20-year-old self that. Ooh, polished cat.
Yeah.
The work ethic was there. The respect was there. The character base was there. The patience was not there. The listening skills. I'll listen to some things, but other things like, man, I'm working here. What the fuck can you tell me?
Yeah.
But that was the wrong way.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Wrong way.
Man, patience and listening. Well, what you call it? I wish you a very, very long life. You know what I mean? I hope you like 95 years old talking shit. You know, one day I was on this podcast, 4K back in the day. You know what I mean? So if by chance that you decide to turn on this episode when you're 95, what is a message you would want to say to your older 80-year-old self watching this back? What do you want to say to yourself as an old man watching?
Discipline and stay healthy. Staying healthy requires discipline. Eating correctly, exercising your mind, and keeping God first. Yeah, that's that old wisdom that was given to me that my 80-year-old self look back to this and say the same things.
Nice.
Yes, indeed.
I love it.
And I can smile at that, and that's true fulfillment with that.
I love that. Well, I thank you very, very much for your time today. Listen, there's a lot of places you could have been, but you chose to be here, and I appreciate the hell out of you for that. You know what I mean? I think we're going to make a lot of impact with this.
Oh, we will.
A lot of impact.
You and I got a lot of work to do anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
Appreciate you, brother.
No doubt. And you know what I always say with you guys? Look, there's a lot of places your ears could be. I'm honored they chose to be with me. When in doubt, use calm honesty to express your vision. And most of all, thanks for listening.
Great words.